This is the Levels Network. I am Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason, former New South Wales great and huge New South Wales fan, the bro, Lukey Stowe, and the jersey of the current skipper of Queensland in the knockout game, the worst Queensland team of all time, signed by his truly. I was going to say yours truly. His truly. An emotional week, capped off in the best possible way. Let's start off with money before we get to it, mate. And we'll get down and I want to break down every player. But he looked exhausted after the game. And the reason I use the word exhausted rather than fatigued, he was clearly fatigued from the game, but he was exhausted from the whole week. Exhausted. Yeah, emotionally exhausted, mate.
Yeah, and that's what you got to admire about Queensland, don't you? They all put in that extra. As I said, I told you at the start when that unfortunate thing happened to Munster's dad, passed away, and I'm like, I won't be surprised if I'm sitting here right now on Thursday going, we got beat.
Out of respect for money and the situation, people didn't want to say and use it as and basically say it was going to be motivation. But how could it not be, mate?
It's not.
How could it not be?
He's your captain. He's your spiritual leader. Like he's that dude in the team. And like something like that happens, everyone galvanizes and gets around him, and it just goes up that little bit of 5%. You've got that in you, and it's an origin decider. They're the little factors that matter. And you could see they were clearly heads and shoulders above us.
Yeah, energy levels.
I didn't think that they were going to be that far. Like blatantly, I could see it. I'm going, we are so fucking far off from the first kickoff.
My worry for Queensland and with the emotion was that they didn't just completely blow out the candle early on. Yeah, like it could have. I anticipated it even being too much for Cam. It was perfect enough where. For sure, he would have gone out there with the thoughts of his old man Stephen and all that in mind. But he did a very good job of quickly going. That's why I go to the word exhausted. He switched on, was able to just deal with everything he had to deal with for 3 or 4 days, cross that line, become Queensland captain, and then as soon as the bell went, it's just like
unplug.
Take a huge breath and hit the deck. He was celebrating with Hammer for a bit, and then I think it was like, all right, it's just sunk in. He's just won an origin decider as a skipper in the same week that his father Stevens passed away. So,
and I'm sitting here going, well done, Queensland. Because he's so highly respected, and I love money, and I'm just going, you know what? If it was ever going to happen, I'd let that game slip. Not in that fashion.
You're disappointed with the performance of New South Wales?
Very disappointed in the performance.
We'll critique that.
Yeah, we will. But I'm just like, okay, well, money deserves that. I hate seeing things like that. And I went through it when I was a young kid. And, you expect your troops to rally around you like they did.
Yeah.
And he didn't play outstanding.
No.
It wasn't his game. Like he didn't have to because they did.
Yeah.
Everyone else did and stood up. The forward pack, Tino, Papa, like everybody, Harry Grant, Coates.
They rallied for their skipper.
Everybody rallied for him. And I was just like, that's what I was worried about. I was just like, they're going to rally for him because he's Cam Munster.
I don't know if you've seen.
He's highly respected.
I don't know if you've seen any, because you were at the stadium.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you see, you would have been able to see, you wouldn't have been able to see much of the pre-game stuff within the locker room. And I was calling it last night, and you could just see the body language of players in and around him. And every time, when people come in for a brace, you're like, I even at club level and even despite this situation, I was like, there's not much of an embrace as you would assume. And this is at every team, right? You're like, well, he's not as close as with so-and-so. And you feel the difference because we've been in a locker room. You know what it's like when you might go shake hands with, there's 16 guys you shake hands with. There's like 4 or 5. You're like, fucking let's go, big dog. Yeah. Everyone. Single one of them were like, and I'd imagine what it's like.
I saw those little bits on the screen. I'm like, I could feel it.
Yeah.
I could feel it. And this is what I expected from Queensland. I just didn't expect the performance from New South Wales.
All right, let's get to that. So we'll go through all the player ratings. We're going to go through the coaches review.
Yeah.
We're going to go through, I want to mention New South Wales versus Queensland media. I think it's a part of the narrative and the story of this whole series. And I want to finish off with the referee. Because I feel like that's the level of importance of what happened in this game. Before we get to that, mate, we've got our Levels Golf Day happening again this year. So if you love golf and rugby league, this is the day for you. It will be on the Thursday, the 2nd of October at Concord Golf Course, just like it was last year. That's grand final week. So the list of players returning, and I've been doing some of my best work behind the scenes getting this organised, Mace. The list of players returning from last year, these are just a few names. Daly Cherry Evans, Latrell Mitchell, Adam Reynolds, Kalen Ponga, Mitch Moses, Isaiah Katoa, Clint Gutherson, with legends like Wade Graham, Corey Norman, and Todd Carney, and the list of players making their debut this year, who weren't a part of the day last year, obviously, Zach Lomax, James Tedesco, Victor Radley, Scott Drinkwater, Valentine Holmes, and we will be having legends like Sean Johnson, Steve Menzies, and Matt Moylan. So we have stacked the list again, Mace.
Yeah, good.
So if you would like to be involved, and there will be different levels of sponsorship or involvement, but here is my priority. What I'm doing is I'm most likely, we'll see how we go with the sponsorship for whole sponsorship to begin with, and then there may not be an opportunity for individual tickets this year. If we do really well with our sponsorship, I thought the day rolled really smoothly last year. So if you would like to be involved as a sponsor, you can either DM me directly on Instagram and then I will divert you in the right direction, or you can get us at Levels Network via email at partner@levelsnetwork.com.au to find out about sponsoring a package, whole sponsorship. And we're ready for another big day at the end of the year, mate.
It's a good day. It's a good day. That's it. That's, I mean,
we're going to roll around quick too. It's going to roll.
Like, we don't do that thing in the NRL the whole week. Like, Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff. They roll the whole week. Now, leagues, they're all coming down on Thursday, right? And then there's all RPA awards and there's all that sort of stuff. So kick it off on Thursday.
Yeah, the Daily M's are on Wednesday night, so all the boys are in town, obviously. That's why we're able to make sure we get all the best names. Yeah. It's the week of the grand final, so representative footy doesn't get in the way, training or anything like that. So that's why we're able to get the roster. All the boys are super keen. Like we've said a number of times now, if there are some players that, like Cam, right?
Yeah.
Cam's in, Cameron Munster's in, but we're expecting probably Cam to be in the grand final. Yeah. If for whatever reason the Melbourne Storm don't make it, then he's another big name that I didn't name a part of that'll be there. Our mate Fozzie, obviously, from the Gold Coast Titans. So, looking forward to it. All right, let's get to Origin, straight into it. Player ratings, and let's go through them, mate. Let's get the team list up, and we're going to start off with the winners. And you talked a little bit about the emotion and some of them rallying around their skipper. This was a huge decision from Billy Slater going into this game. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow at fullback. Not only did he do what sort of I expected, which was to be supporting through the middle, sort of picking up any loose scraps and turning a half chance into 4 points. Mate, defensively, kick receptions, all that sort of stuff. He was on. He was on.
Yeah. He's dangerous, isn't he? You know what I mean? Like, every time, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind Hammer playing when he's on one side of the field. You put him in the middle of the field where he can split you. Like, he's dangerous, right? And he's really good defensively. Like, if he pops up on your little offload here, he's nearly taken to the house. He'll skin everyone.
His acceleration is
fucking ridiculous.
His acceleration allows him to get to positions quicker than what Kalen and Reece can get to.
Easily. He glides.
That try saver straight after half time where Angus Crichton hits that hole, they run a nice little outball line. Angus Crichton goes through. Rob Toyer and Tommy Dearden get a slight little ankle tap touch. And then Hammer comes in, and not to say, who knows, like maybe Kalen gets there, maybe he doesn't. Maybe Reece gets there, maybe they don't. But I reckon there was a couple of occasions where his short area quickness was the difference in coming up with a loose ball and then accelerating through that hole for Tommy Dearden, and then in that play, in that try-saving tackle on Angus Crichton.
Yeah. He's outstanding when he wants to be. Like, that's what I'm saying. Look, he is like as good as you make him, right? Like he just sits on that left edge, and you're like, if he gets the ball, he'll do some damage, but he won't go looking for it as much, and he won't like be like in the open field like he was last night. He makes you just shit yourself. If you're in the middle, he's always supporting through the middle. Like Reece Walsh doesn't do that. He's more at the back sort of player. He's not a middle sort of. He doesn't sit behind like a Tino or anything like that, waiting for those little
That's
little
fair.
loose
Support
crumbs.
side of role.
Support side of things. He's a natural supporter.
Yeah. He does it not to the level that Hammer does it. That's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
Hammer doesn't want to strip you with shape on the outside. That's not how.
No, never. He's like through the middle, and he'll just skin you.
I thought he was excellent. I wonder if a player. I'm just thinking about this because you're talking about him being a left side player, which is where he started, left centre, and then he scored 2 tries on the right wing in game 2, and then finished the series in fullback. I wonder if a guy's played 3 different positions before.
Not like that.
Like
and
ever.
Start
in
left,
3 different
right, fullback.
Left centre, right wing, fullback in 3 games. That'll be.
Try and name a player.
There must be someone that's done their homework. Let us know on there.
Try and think of a player who can do that in the back 5 in the NRL. Not many. Not who can play left centre, right wing, left
fullback.
wing, fullback.
Yeah, Turbo could.
Yeah,
out of. So
That's
Dylan
it.
Edwards, no. Latrell, yes. Like he could play wing, but you don't want him on the wing. He definitely play fullback and centres. Zach Lomax, yes, centres and wing. You don't want him playing fullback.
Well, they could, but like not at that level.
Exactly, that's my point.
You're going,
Turbo
play
could.
Origin.
A fully fit Turbo could.
Yeah.
But like we haven't seen that version of him in a long time. So we'll get to the New South Wales.
Turbo could do that easy.
Everyone was talking about this huge advantage that New South Wales had in the back 5, but back 3 specifically with the yardage. Xavier Coates did such a good job in the air, diffusing kicks, a number of tough carries, and I thought Val Holmes proved to me that at international, at least at representative level, that he's a winger.
Yeah.
Like he's such a better winger when it gets to the next level because he came up with some huge defensive plays, and I feel like I haven't really got the stats. I should get the stats in front of me as we go because I'm not looking at really all the stats it's just the eye test.
Yeah, that shot that he put on Crichton, I've never seen anyone put him on his ass.
That was clean.
That was so clean.
I tell you what, Robert Toye got him maybe a set before, but like half got him, and I was like, it was like a warning shot, and then Val goes to the rook, hey, don't worry, I'll show you how you do it. The very next set and hit him clean.
That's one of the cleanest shots I've seen ever in the middle or anything. Like Val just got him. His leg was up, his foot was up a little bit. Crichton's just a little bit, right? So he planted his foot down first and just fucking went bang. He hasn't been hit like that in 3 years.
No.
You reckon?
No, not like that.
When's the last time you saw him get hit?
No, not Angus Crichton, no.
Not like that.
No. So
by a winger.
Yeah, it's the physicality across the board was evident. It looked like Queensland jumped them, right? I feel like for the first 5 minutes, Queensland had jumped them with enthusiasm. It's like New South Wales like, all right, this will pass. We just got to get in a rhythm. And they got into a cycle. Yeah. And then it was just like Queensland just went, they were maybe expecting Queensland to fold. Queensland just kept on going, jab, jab, jab.
You can see it from the first kickoff.
Jab, bang.
First kickoff. I could feel it from the first kickoff when they kicked off, and I'm like, Big Papa's running. Yeah, you respect the shit out of him, right? But you've got to go through him.
Yeah.
He just finds his front. No one finds their front on the first kickoff in Origin.
Yeah. Anything else? I thought the one thing noticeable with at least the right side with Val Holmes, and we'll get to Rob Toye and Shibasaki in a bit, is how aggressively and there was just absolutely no change from the left side at all. Everyone was talking about, all right, for New South Wales, you need to get Latrell more ball. Val was so aggressive. Yeah. Like, Val got up so hard, and so Rob Toye went first and Val just followed him in every time. Yeah. And
good little combo, that.
It's a great combo because the beauty of having a guy like Val who's plays centres all the time, he knows what's important when he plays wing as a centre. So if you make a strong decision, what do you want? You want your fucking winger to back you, and that's what Val Holmes did.
He's a gun. Val's a gun. But as you said, he's still one of the best wingers in the game.
Yeah. He's a centre at club level because he's too good to be on the wing.
And you want to because he's on this.
Yeah.
And you go, get in centre.
Yeah. But even like, and that sort of, I'm feeling a bit contradicting myself there a touch, because, you know, like when I've talked about, you know, Turbo before playing, comparing Turbo centre to wing and Zach, like Val could easily play wing at club level as well, but I just think defensively, he probably does a better job and in representative footy with the aggressive nature that he plays with defensively to come and make those huge calls.
When he first hit the scene, he was a winger. He scored like heaps of tries in Origin. He's a gun.
Rob Toyer.
He fucking near cooked Latrell.
He had some nice moments.
Yeah, that one he nearly got through.
Nearly a couple of times.
Right, and it just went, fuck, he got him sliding.
Yeah. The beauty of Rob Toyer offensively, now he said, I'm just looking down now, I'm sort of blown away by some of these stats as we're going through them, because, again, this is something I haven't had the opportunity to look at. The part that I loved about Rob Toyer offensively on Latrell was, you know what, mate? You know what's a huge what-if moment is if Latrell's able to manhandle Rob Toyer over that sideline before he gets it offload away.
Yeah.
And then... like if he doesn't get that offload away, who knows with the momentum of the crowd and all that sort of stuff that builds up, he gets that offload away. Just Hammer is like, it feels like Hammer is the only Queensland player around 3 or 4 New South Wales Blues players. No, he not only picks it up, he accelerates into the gap, and then Tommy Dearden again, the only Queensland player in the picture hits the gap and just managed to squeeze the pass in between Robson. But the beauty of Rob Toyer, and it felt like. You know when you feel like a player's only got like one trick? It's like we haven't
seen much of him.
He kept on mixing it up. So my point is he took Latrell and he just shaped him up, and I assumed, all right, you're going to take his inside shoulder to begin with, because you don't want to go sideline early in the game because Latrell will pick you up. And I think it caught Latrell by surprise. Yeah. He went the outside, and then Latrell goes, oh, this guy's trying to skin me now. And the next time he got an opportunity, he went bang, right foot on the inside. So Latrell was a little bit sitting back on his...
but he got in clean. That was the cleanest, because Latrell's one of the best defensive centres in the game. And I was like, this little fucker got him. He nearly scored.
Latrell doesn't get enough credit for that. Yeah,
Latrell's a gun. And he would have, in his head, be thinking, I've got to teach this guy a lesson, because I don't think Toyer... He hasn't had a moment yet in Origin. No. Because he's going up against one of the best defensive centres in the game.
Yeah.
And I think he had his moments last night.
Well, I reckon Billy would have said to him...
Got him on points.
He for sure won on points across the series. And I reckon for Billy it would have been the conversation around, like, mate, you just go out, do your job. You were picked because, you know, your defensive capabilities at the Sydney Roosters. Yeah, just go out there and do your best. Like, do your best. Do Queensland proud. I can just imagine what he's like. No one's... You just go out there and you do Queensland proud, and the rest will take care of itself.
20 years old too. Like handling Latrell, like who's fit and motivated.
Yes.
That's the hardest thing. And he got a fair bit of ball last night.
Yeah.
He did.
No excuses this time around.
Never clean ball or anything like that. It was just really good defense.
Yes.
He got the ball and he was one-on-one with him.
Yep.
And you know, some of his yardage carries, you got to do that as a centre. Yep. But like he had the ball at least 5 or 6 times, one-on-one.
Yep.
And Toyer just stood his
with
ground.
A bit of space, with the opportunity to come in. There was a couple of times where Rob didn't get him clean, just enough.
Yeah.
Just enough to throw Latrell off balance or check him a little bit where he has to make either a huge pass or sort of someone else is coming over to assist. So
they didn't look dangerous at all, that left edge.
As I wasn't worried for Queensland. The first 20 minutes, yes. Yeah. It looked like they were sort of having a little bit of joy. After they repelled them, I was like, New South Wales aren't threatening anymore. No. Like, it's not even...
Why did we go away from that? Well, even on the right side, we looked like we had some joy. Like, Critter was having some joy. Then we just, like... You're looking at the game and go, what the fuck is happening?
Well, let's get to that a little bit longer.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum.
Yeah. Panic.
Yeah, for sure, scoreboard pressure. But let's get to the debutant, Gemmet Shibasaki.
God damn.
So I talked at length, you talked at length about the skill level of the passes of Latrell Mitchell and Stephen Crichton in game one with some of the tip-ons that they have, the movement, to be able to have the movement to catch the ball on the run and evade someone and come up with the right pass to your winger. Let's start off with the try assist at the start of the game under immense pressure in a debut. Like, he gets the ball out of the back of shape. First of all, it was nice depth. But to evade Zach Lomax, who, look, every now and again he can come up with an error like this, but if he hits you, you stay hit.
Yeah. He's
able to just slide, gather himself. It was an ugly pass, but it was just enough.
Yeah.
And he finds Xavier Coates over in the corner for the first try. And then
he was silky.
Then if you had any doubts about him as a Queensland fan, that was gone straight away with that move. And if you thought you could expose Gamba Chibasaki in any way as a New South Wales Blues fan or opposition, you just went, all right, so this guy's going to be okay.
Yeah. I thought at the start, when Critter was having a little bit of joy down there side, I'm like, okay, he might be out of his depth here. And then he just got better and better and better and better. And then, like, set that try up. He was good coming out of yardage. Like, those yardage carries, as you were saying before, fucking pumped.
He got pumped.
But he didn't get pumped. Like, he found his front.
Yeah. He got pumped on his very first carry and then not again.
You'd expect.
Yeah.
You know, like, you'd expect, like, just getting smacked coming out of that. Everyone's on their right shoulder. You're going to get it, right?
Yeah.
But not. Then finds his front and just wiggles around. I'm like, that's the little things like that in Origin. He needed to be put on his back every single fucking time he got the ball.
He's a big body, man.
I know, but fuck.
Yeah. They tried.
Final.
They tried.
Stronger than you think. Yeah. Easier said than done. He's probably 100. He's probably 100 kilos.
Yeah, it'd be 100 kilos.
Yeah.
He has made himself a shitload of money this year. What's the price for Gamba Chibasaki?
Right now?
Right now.
If he's on the open market?
Right now.
600?
It's about right.
Yeah.
About right for an Origin centre. With the form that he's playing at the Broncos, I reckon for sure his floor's 500.
Yeah.
If someone's going to try to come get him. Now it's risky.
Just say, imagine if, like,
see, I can't.
Titans. The Titans want him.
I can't.
Redcliffe.
I think, unfortunately, for the Broncos, he's outplayed the Broncos because he's on a train and trial development contract right now.
Just 1 year?
1 year. He was on a prove-it deal. Macy, he's
made more money in Origin than his contract's worth.
There you go.
Seriously, how good's that?
It's the best.
Backing yourself and just going.
It's the best. If I'm looking at teams and there is risk for sure, could it be a 1 year wonder?
No, fuck no.
But he's an Origin player and a decider against Stephen Crichton now. That's proven. That's ticked.
Yeah.
And he's got 12. He's got a dozen tries in NRL level. The Broncos are getting better. I don't know who manages Shibasaki, but he's just saying, keep going, big boy.
I wonder if he goes, all right, I want to stay with the Broncos. Or do you just go, do you clearly want money?
Well, he's 26, 27, mate, so he doesn't have a shitload of time.
You want a bit of, like, coin, right?
Yeah, you'd have to.
So do you reckon the Broncos would come to the party and go, he's 250?
That's a way unders now.
Yeah,
probably.
He's an Origin player.
Yeah, they would love Broncos
big time.
I don't. It's not about lowballing for the Broncos. I just don't think they're going to have the cap, and that's why Selwyn's no longer playing for the. That's why Selwyn's going to the Dolphins.
Yeah,
because they've just re-signed Katoni Staggs. Walshy's on a big deal. Ezra's on a big deal. Paddy Carrigan's on a big deal. They want to re-sign Payne. They've got to prioritise. Like, Reynolds has taken a club-friendly deal for obvious reasons. He's been on good money for a long time, and he's at the last couple of years of his contract.
Yeah.
Ben Hunt went up there and took a significant drop on his contract from the Dragons because he's 35 years old and he wants to win a Shibasaki. After this, far out.
$500,000 for sure. $500,000.
$500,000. He's
easily,
and I hope he does, and I hope he goes into another good system. I hope there's a team that goes out there. Broncos fans are probably going, shut the fuck up and let us keep Shibasaki.
No. Get your money, boy.
At the start of the episode, we talked about money, the emotion of it. Let's talk about on field. Okay, game from money.
Yeah.
It was more the it was never going to be. Oh no, sorry, that's not correct. Not to say it couldn't have been about stats, but emotionally, him just being present for his team, and the leadership was enough for money. And I thought tactically, I don't know if it's just because he's got this pop gun kick or just it was tactical as well. They were definitely not kicking as far as New South Wales, but in doing that, it allowed the defensive line to sort of get right in the face of New South Wales as soon as they caught the ball. And I thought that was the best part of Cam's game.
It was weird, wasn't it? So he'd kick on the 40 or just before halfway, and then it'd only go to the 30. But enough hang time, so Dylan Edwards or any of the wingers in that, catching it on contact.
They were trying to do it more to Zach and Toto. But Dill got a few more of the yardage carries returns.
Yeah, because that's what you want.
Yeah. You don't want Zach.
I don't want Zach. Like Zach was in, he wasn't effective at all. Neither was Toto. Their numbers were good.
Yeah.
They all had to crack the back three, but they didn't have an impact on the game.
Yeah, agreed.
Because they were catching on impact, bang, straight away. They couldn't run up. Because Zach Lomax is strong as fuck. He gets that separation, bang, finds his front, moves around, got a late offload in him. Like none of that happened.
Yeah, the frustrations from Zach, which led to a few errors both offensively and defensively, was that I think, it's like anyone, like everyone's a confidence player, but some just you feel like they need it more so than others. He gets confidence out of kick returns or play ones and skiddling someone and then just feeling invincible.
Just strong and like he can't be handled. And he got handled.
And Cam took that away from him.
Yeah.
Cameron took that away from him. So when he was not getting clean ball off the kick receptions, he was then not having the joy as well when he was chasing his ass off in kick chases.
Yeah.
Sometimes he looked like a chook with his head cut off, just running around the field trying to chase these kicks with no real plan, it didn't look like. So credit to Cam in that sense.
Capel did a really good job.
Him and Capes were awesome
Capel,
defensively.
You don't even you don't notice Capel, but he's the guy that puts pressure on everyone.
Yeah. He does the little things right, mate.
Yeah. But Money did exactly what he turned up. Like he had every right not to play. Every right not to play. And he turned up, put that jersey on, led those guys out into war and got the win.
Tommy Dearden was my player of the match after about 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah, fuck him.
And I thought,
fuck.
Yeah,
he just keeps getting better.
Mate, with the decision, we'll get to the decision and the coaching a little bit later on. I still think there's a world, and this is no bias at all, that Daly could have got the job done as well, right?
Yeah.
There is absolutely no doubt, because we'll never know, because we never seen it, that Daly could have got the job done with Tommy. Tommy went out there. He was good off the bench in game one, just enough to show Billy that, all right, this is something that we could be lacking, which is constant pressure from both Cameron and Tom offensively when around the 25, 30-minute mark. When fatigue started setting for the big boys, mate, the tries are great. The tries are awesome. But, a couple of played short to Ruben Cotter early, who goes through. Ruben Cotter's a dog. Love Ruben Cotter. He's probably second best on field for me. And then he flips over to the left-hand side, and before the Harry Grant try, he gets on ball, plays short to Lindsay Collins. Lindsay Collins gets a half break. He looks like he's sort of going to float around to the left, but he jumps back on ball to the right. Dummies, digs his heels in, goes underneath, ducks and weaves.
He's annoying.
You know what? They're not a like for like in player, but it's similar to the other number 7 North Queensland Cowboys player who represented Queensland at the highest level as well. You know what JT's going to do going into games. He wants to get you with a show and go at some point. And it's different levels of strength. It's
weird, isn't it? I get what you're saying, but
So JT is going to get you with a bit of silk. He's going to get you fatigued and he's going to show and go and he's just going to have you bamboozled. Tommy did and does it with more tenacity.
Yeah, he'll throw a dummy and then run straight through.
But surely everyone fucking knows. And it's the best of the best, mate.
You'd think so.
It's the best of the best.
You got Luai easy.
And Angus Crichton. Gus is over there as well. And Latrell's over there as well.
3 gun defenders.
Elite players.
Yeah.
And these Queenslanders in the 7 and 6 jersey in big moments can still just he was outstanding. It's right up there, mate.
He was outstanding.
His origin career already, right now, the moments that he's had, he was go back to the decider in 2023. Cam Munster, he is out with COVID. Tommy Dearden comes in. That was his first game.
Yeah. He's a gun. He's like one of the best halves in the game.
If Queensland had hung on last year, it was Paddy Carrigan and Tommy Dearden who were my candidates for Wally Lewis medal.
Yeah.
Because, money's missing because he has the groin injury. And then he gets the opportunity at the expense of DCE, and he has been flawless. He epitomises Queensland spirit.
And defensively as well. Don't let that slip. He
was trying to bash, mate.
Bangs you up.
He went up, and he had one of the cleanest, and because it wasn't a hit, tackle opportunities on Latrell.
Yeah.
And he got Latrell, I remember thinking, he got Latrell as good as he could. Got bumped off, got sent, but I was like, just enough. The attempt. Yeah. The attempt.
He's a little goer, isn't he? To think that Brisbane just went, nah, he's not going to be that good. Fucking hell.
Yeah, he's set. There was all these questions around for deservedly so there for a bit around DCE. He'd been there for so long, the oldest player of all time. And it was more also less about when was DCE was eventually going to finish up, who was going to take it. And we were throwing out, Sammy Walker after a great season. Tommy had been and done it and done a good job. And everyone was like, we probably need to see more. That's done.
Yeah.
That conversation's over. And that conversation now...
He's a 7 for the next 5 years.
Well, I think the conversation now, he starts applying... The pressure for Queensland is done. He starts applying pressure for the next level.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to in a bit.
Just those little half breaks. He causes those. He scores tries. He's always the pass that when he set Cotter up and then back on the inside. He's just a little dog. He doesn't stop. He does not stop. He must be so fit. Put him in High Rocks. He's my new guy in High Rocks.
There you go. He would kill. Well, he's famous for smashing the Bronco test up at North Queensland. I think he might be one of the
He'd be like a 410, 415.
Yeah, something like that. He beat the crazy All Blacks score that Barrett got.
Yeah. Did he?
Yeah. So it's something like that. It's 410 or something.
Less than
like
410 then.
That was a couple of years ago. Big Papa. So
he did his job.
He did his job really well. So his first stint was only 15 minutes, mate. That was all that was required. Yeah. Because I want to talk about these two as a combination, because I thought, and I said this just before the game, after just seeing them, again, going to the locker room, the person who was going to benefit the most from Josh Papali'i was Tino Fa'asuamaleaui. And the reason I said that is because if you think back to game one, Tino was super emotional, try to become the alpha for Queensland after missing last year's series, try to go after it. Game two, even Tino didn't have the best series, because game two, he got a couple of really poor balls from Trent Liero, who was much better in this game as well. And it led to a couple of errors, and Liam Martin was getting underneath him. And it felt like Tino was frustrated for games 1 and 2. I reckon he would have, just before he ran out, he would have just been in the tunnel, just embracing with people and gone, I don't have to do this all by myself. We got Big Papa for the first stint, and he only got 15 minutes out, mate, but it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was everything you wanted.
I would go back on that first hit up. I know Big Papa's hard to hit, right? But you've got to hit him harder than that. Do you know what I mean? You've got to go. It's a first fucking contact in a Origin decider. You've got to go through him.
I wouldn't say that he won, but he didn't lose. That's your point, right?
Lose. He needs to be put on his back, picked up and dragged back. You know what I mean? You're not going to put Papa on his back like a clean hit, like how Crichton got hit. But you can hit him and just have some force in it, right? I was like, he just found his front and landed on the 20. It just doesn't happen in Origin, in a decider.
He's done it before, and he's done it for 15 years.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a fucking beast.
I know, because you're for sure.
Exactly why they picked him.
Exactly why they picked him.
No one can really hit him. No one can really put him on his back. You can't really intimidate him. You can't do anything to Papa. He's just a big little, just a nugget who just got a little bit of footwork late at the line, and he finds his front. It's kick it to Tino then.
And he has just enough acceleration or just enough juice in him at this point of his career for a little bit of line speed, a few nice third man ins.
Get your ribs.
Get your ribs. You got a couple of ribs in there too. They weren't super clean, but they were just enough as well to just it's one of those ones when you get hit and then you get up and you play the ball and you're like, fuck, that's right, big papa. Like fuck, that's to be expected. Tino was, and like I said with Tino, it benefited Tino so much. He had 2 carries in the first set off the back of it. I think there was he only had 11 carries all up here. I'm looking at the stats. I felt like he had 4 in the first 3 sets. He had a couple of doubles. It allowed him to have a couple of doubles.
Set, didn't he?
Yeah.
But the intent behind that run, those runs were a little bit like
he's a little bit of there you go. Got it.
He was a little bit freer and he was just running like fucking who cares who's in my way? Yeah. Footwork, stepping out, all that kind of stuff. He's hard to hit.
Well, that's a good point because he was allowed. I think in games 1 and 2, he was just off the back fence, pick someone out, wanted to run over at him. Because Papa had already established that with his play the balls, it allowed him to just go get a little bit more depth, a little bit of late footwork. He didn't have to be the alpha enforcer because Papa was there and he was able to do what Tino does best, which is find spaces,
a little
not faces.
bit wider. He can get wider of the ruck. He doesn't have to jam in behind markers or anything like that. He's got a skill set which he can get a little bit wider. He can get it the 3 and 4 man and bring him in and he's just, he was good. And I was surprised at the stats, 11 hit-ups. I thought he had fucking at least 16.
It's because in the second half, they didn't...
Carrigan.
Yeah, Carrigan. The second wave, we'll get to the second wave. Good. And we'll talk about Billy Slater for sure because he's got to take some credit for that as well. Once they got to 20-0, and understandably so, that's a lot of points. They were defending so well. It was, for at least for the first 20 minutes of the second half, was 4 carries, little shift, kick.
Yeah.
On repeat, rinse and repeat, scoreboard pressure. That's what they did. They played a little bit more footy in the first half to get the points, and then once they realised that they got to 20, I think they tweaked their plan a little bit more, which brings down the meters for the forwards, obviously, and then ups the meters for the outside backs.
Yeah.
Have a look at the number of carries. They're not the meters are good. They're not great. But 23 runs for Coates, 18 for Toya, 18 for Shibasaki, and 15 for Val Holmes.
23 for Coates?
I reckon you could, if you clicked on, because Coates was getting all the kick receptions too. Fuck. So they were kicking to him the whole time because they were trying to get Zach into the game with some contests through the air. But it felt like every time I looked up, especially in the second half, it was kick to Coates, Shibasaki get him for play 1 and just got absolutely wrist-rolled, and either Rob Toy and Val Holmes would come over for play 3, then they'd get into Tino, and then they'd either have a little drop or a mini shift and then kick to a corner. Yeah. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, apply scoreboard pressure. New South Wales get the ball, they shit themselves, they try to go sideways, and that's what they did so well. Harry Grant played the worst possible game he will ever play in his life in game 1.
In his whole career.
In his whole career ever. He could go all the way to being a veteran of 40 years old and never play as bad as he did in game 1, and then sneakily had a really good series.
Yeah, he was good.
There won't be much fanfare about Harry, but he didn't. I think maybe he tried to do for sure too much in game 1, and he simplified it, pulled it all back, realised that he is more of an 80-minute hooker now, that he doesn't have Benny Hunt there. I don't think that realisation, once you remove Tom Dearden from the bench, who was an option for him to come on and play hooker, it settled Harry down. He's like, all right, I no longer have to win the game in the first 20 minutes before Ben Hunt comes on, or vice versa, when they had their opportunities. And, he was...
He was outstanding.
Sneakily good.
Yeah.
Sneakily good.
The service was 10 out of 10. That little try that he got, which was fucking embarrassing. No, he was good.
A few loose balls, a few tip backs.
That first game, I've never seen Harry play worse in a club game. Even in club, he's never played that bad.
Also, just quickly, almost the very first set, they strip New South Wales strip and they go to the edge. Critters running down that sideline. I know it was right at the start of the game, Mace.
Yeah.
Harry comes up with that cover tackle on Critter.
Was that Harry?
That was Harry. I'm pretty sure it was Harry. Now I'm starting to second guess myself whether it's Tommy or Harry. I'm pretty sure it was Harry.
Tommy.
Was it Tommy?
It was Tommy Dearden.
I thought Tommy didn't come up with the try savers at the end. I thought it was Harry to begin with. Anyway, let us know.
Yeah, I swear it was Tom.
I think it was Harry, and then because
Early on in the game.
Or was it on Liam Martin? It was on Liam Martin. It was Harry on Liam Martin. Because Critter finds the pass to Liam Martin.
But Critter got pumped out. Or Toto.
No. He finds the pass to Liam Martin. Liam Martin streaking down the sideline. And Harry comes up with a tackle. Otherwise, it would have been drawn pass. Liam Martin with hammer.
Who hit Toto early on? When he was trying to find the line. I think
that was Tommy Didden.
Yeah.
That was 100% Tommy Didden.
Yeah.
So I think this one was.
That's what I'm thinking.
So I think this one was Harry.
Okay.
Right in the first 2 minutes of the game. So that's what we expect from Harry Grant.
Well, he just sort of solidified himself as the best 9 in the game again.
Yep.
Because people were doubting him after that first game.
For sure.
Were just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yep.
His club, he's still killing it at club, but Origin just amplifies everything.
He had a slow start to club level as well.
Yeah.
He just started to get his groove, I reckon, about a month ago at club level as well. He's just and again, great human. Ruben Cotter.
Fuck.
Beast.
Best forward in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think so.
Regardless of Tino and everything like that.
I think so. I agree with that.
He's a problem on that edge. Runs that beautiful line off Dearden and then set the try up.
Hits like a truck. Runs like every carry's his last.
Proper Origin player. That's why he gets picked in all these rep sides.
The only blemish is she couldn't find a nice little tip on the hammer after that break.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. But you know what I mean? He's sitting there playing against arguably the best back rower, Crichton, and you got Luai, and you got Latrell, and he's finding gaps quite easily.
Great point about Angus Crichton and Liam Martin. Angus Crichton's the Wally Lewis Medal winner from last year.
He was the guy.
You going up, they had all these different options of club back rowers, players that played back row at club level, and Billy went, you know what? That's not a style of Origin player. No. Jeremiah Nanai, who sat on the bench for a while. I think he got a bit of garbage time at the end. They tinkered with Beau for more. There have been other options where you could have viewed them as probably better options in the back row. But Billy knows exactly what he's going to get from Ruben. Yeah. And Ruben now, if you didn't think Ruben and Paddy Carrigan were proven, maybe their Wally Lewis medals were flukes. No.
No way. No way.
They are out Origin players.
Even Carrigan coming off the bench is
awesome.
I hate that, because he's such a world-class forward. Yeah. We don't have that. We've got Spencer, and everyone expected Spencer to do things that he did last year, but they handled him.
Yep.
Now, we're going to get to him, but, Ruben Cotter is easily the top 5 forward. I reckon. I'd pick. He's always one of the first picked in most rep games.
See, and the Ruben is that sort of play at representative level too, because even though Billy made the decision, you're still it's okay. You don't until you see it, and then
you play against him and he breaks your ribs and he runs fucking straight through you.
But he's also a player when you go to Australia, you just go, he's definitely in the 17.
Put him in the 17. Just put him on the bench, or he starts, or he's in the 17, or
he could play prop,
lock.
He could play edge, lock. 15, 16, 17, 14.
He's your ultimate,
he could be your backup hooker.
I always compare young kids. I just say everyone wants to be built like Payne Haas or Tino. And I said, no, look at Ruben Cotter.
Yep.
He's probably 6 foot, maybe 100 kilos, maybe. Works his ass off, really high skill set, got big motor. That's who you should be comparing yourself to, because not everyone's 6'5" and 115 kilos.
I went out and I threw out a huge comparison. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, about just a player who can just turn up for Queensland and do a job. And I compared him to Nate Miles. He's a good mate of yours, and even Nate.
He's got more skill than Nate.
He's got more skill than Nate.
He's got more pace than Nate.
Kurt Capewell, I'm talking about though.
Oh,
remember when I talked about Kurt Capewell, and it's not about the shit that. You can't quantify it. He just does a fucking job for Queensland.
Yeah,
that's the comparison, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not like the peak of Kurt Capewell
no.
and the peak of Nate Miles, but a guy who puts on the jersey for Queensland and never lets them down. It's been before in the he's done it in the centres.
Yeah.
Kurt Capewell just fucking does a job for Queensland.
He's getting better and better. He's, what is he, 30, 32? Like, he just keeps getting better. Like, he's killing it for the Warriors this year. I think he was in the Origin side last year, maybe a few injuries here and there, and they wanted to go somewhere else because they got beaten in the series. So he's always like the fall guy, right? If something's going bad, we'll change a back row, we'll change a bench or something like that. And he's always that guy.
He's Mr. Fix-It for Webby. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's not living up to it, something at the Warriors, and even over the years at Broncos and Panthers, like, he's had success everywhere he's gone, mate.
Yeah. Grand final, Cronulla.
I think he was a part of that squad in Cronulla.
Yeah. He can just play.
Yeah.
He's got a mad skill set, and like,
he just does the little things too, though.
Watching it from from where I was last night, just like, you're like, fuck, did he even play? Like, you don't notice what he's doing until you look at the stats, and I'm going to watch it back when I get home.
Yeah.
And you'll see all those little things, like the kick pressure, always first on like the kick when it goes up, smacking on contact, all those little things that you just can't fucking coach.
But here's the thing that doesn't come up as well, Mace, and you know this better than anyone, and being former players. A tackle might come up as one tackle on a stat sheet, but a third man in doesn't.
No.
And that's what he does every time. He will not run past an incomplete tackle.
Always cleaning legs.
Clean some legs.
And that's what's the worst thing? Cleaning legs and then sprinting back.
Exactly right. And here's not another stat. Cleaning the legs and then getting back to a defender and being set.
Counting numbers.
And being set.
Yeah.
So there are guys that can get the legs and then they lope around. They might be a dead Marine. They might not fucking get back to A. So then therefore Munster's got to come up without him. Like that shit, that doesn't show up on stat sheets.
Like he'll sprint back and then he'll go to the open.
Yep.
Right? And because I just say if he has his eyes up all the time, there could be two on the, like just saying 15 metres.
Yep.
He'll go the other side.
There are plenty of plays that run to that short side.
They'll just leave there and then they'll have that play off, right?
Yeah.
They'll have that off. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't do shit like that. It's like, oh, you little fucker.
He's just awesome. How about this stat line from Trent Liero?
Yeah, good.
14 carries, 121 metres. No shit tip-ons this game. No shit tip-ons. I'm going to go over the tackles, mate. 48, 0 misses.
48 tackles.
Yep. And this, you know what? Credit to Liero. This is how good Liero was playing, and I noticed this during the call. So, he played, and let me just confirm before I go. Yeah, confirmed. So he went the entire first half. They made changes through the middle. Paddy and Lindsay Collins come on with the second wave, which we'll get to in a little bit. And then straight after halftime, we were talking about how good Paddy Carrigan was in the 25-minute stint. I assumed Billy was going to go Liero off next, bring on Big Papa or Tino, and Paddy goes back to lock. After 10 minutes, Paddy was so gassed that he went, Paddy come, Papa on. Liero stayed out there, and Liero didn't get a break until like the 50, 55-minute mark, 60-minute mark.
Straight.
Yeah. And then I think he might have got another opportunity to come back on after. So
those meters that he made were all off the 9.
Yeah.
Or off the 7.
Yeah.
Like there was no hit-ups or there's no kickoffs or anything like that. So that was solid meters.
And also running them on sometimes plays 3 and 4, which is some of the hardest carries to take. Especially when you're going to defend the way you did.
Yeah.
So, like, it's okay to take that play 4 because that's, again, when, as you know, there's little things that you can get away with, Mace. If you take play 4, then you can just walk to kick chase because everyone knows
there's nothing like that anymore.
It doesn't happen anymore.
It's not like that. You can't even do that. Like, if you take play 3 or 4, which pretty much you can't now, right? Because the fullback usually takes it. If you take play 3, you're putting every single ounce of your energy into it, and then you got to go, I'm going to get on this fucking kick chase after this. Or if you take the 4th carry, you know, like you're playing the ball and you're straight on the fucking kick chase.
That's why they do it for fullbacks because you're not accounted that.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But like if you're in middle, you're on it.
So he did play 4 and then he got on kick chase as well.
And then get on it. Jeez. He's a weapon.
Big season. This could really leapfrog his season as well for the
for Melbourne.
For Melbourne.
He's been good for a couple of years. Remember, he's been part of their little squad, like this 20-man squad. He's sort of got filtered in there a little bit. Now he's a starter.
Yeah, I think he was 18th man or 19th man in Game 3 last year. So congrats to Trent Liero as well. So, yeah, made the transition from back row to...
He's a better lock. But sometimes he needs to fuck those little tip-ons off in Origin because, like, it's like, dude, it's Origin. Just have the tip with you, right? But just lock in.
I reckon he would watch a shitload of video of Isaiah Yeo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to be Isaiah Yeo.
Yeah.
Isaiah Yeo is just one of one, right? Don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
And he's in the best system at Penrith. And you just don't have to do it.
It's not a bad person to watch, though.
It's not a bad person to watch, but like you just got to.
Lindsay Collins and Paddy Carrigan. Tactically as well, just from
Bill, from like putting Carrigan back to the bench, right?
Because he's a starter.
He's a fucking starter in an Australian team.
He's a starter every day of the week.
And then
twice on Sundays or twice on Wednesdays.
He had to swallow his pride and just go,
fucking oath he did.
all right, well, okay, what do you want me to do, Bill?
Yeah.
You know, I want you to play off the bench. I'm going to give you this amount of minutes and do this. Like,
here's what I reckon Bill would have said to him. And I want to talk about a few other selfless things like the reaching out to Shibasaki. All the story from Shibasaki has been praising Paddy Carrigan. And getting him back and telling him to give it one more crack. I reckon Bill would have gone to him after game one and gone, fuck, we need to change something. We were in the fight for 35 minutes and then we faded.
Yeah.
I need a second wave.
Yeah, because their bench was disgraceful in the first game.
Yeah.
And ours was outstanding. Then he goes, all right, we're going to make a couple of changes. Lindsay Collins had a couple more games.
Yep.
Who's gotten better.
You called that one. Credit to you. I thought Lindsay was fading.
Yeah.
His form in the last 18 months. Most notably at the Roosters with a couple of bad concussions and form and missing games. And
it's got to rattle you a little bit.
For sure it does. Yeah. And I thought Lindsay was starting to dip because everyone goes through it. Everyone starts to dip. And you were like, he just needs some runs in those legs. He's still got it.
He's still a big body. Like he's 6'5", 100 and like probably fucking 14 kilos or something like that. He's a big man who can move.
And because like he got whacked a few times as well, but he does a good job of absorbing the contact and even just a nice little hit and spin, rolling out of contact, finding his front.
But his leg speed was good.
Yeah, it is.
Like his leg speed was way quicker. It's like just sometimes when you have a little bit of a break from the game, head knocks, everything like that, probably would have been doing some sprint training or some different sort of stuff, you know. So him and Carrigan, that 1-2 punch was noticeable.
How many minutes do you think Paddy Carrigan played?
Probably 44.
Only 34. Jeez, it felt like he was out there more.
And same as Lindsay. How much?
Lindsay Moore, 48.
Okay. Well, he caused a lot of damage, Carrigan.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Jeremiah and Kurt Mann had some nice moments coming off the bench and he just had to weather the storm, really. Defend his ass off, a few little tip-ons, move the ruck. Didn't really have an impact on the road because when Kurt Mann come on, New South Wales started to get these fucking very questionable calls, which frustrated the shit out of me. Just as a neutral, like I thought, Ashley did his best job to try to get New South Wales back in the game, and I just wanted to see the players take care of the result. So when Kurt Mann come on, it was just all New South Wales, but did enough. And again, another great story. Jeremiah. From where he was at the start of the year.
How long did they play?
Jeremiah only got 4 minutes in garbage time, right at the death. Kurt Mann got 26. What have I been saying?
I'm just saying 4.
What have I been saying? Do not use edge back rowers unless you want them for 80 minutes. I've been saying this for fucking years, and I've been like, they're not required. So what you either do is you get a completely hybrid player, or what Billy did was not force Jeremiah onto the field because Jeremiah, I think, does his best work as an 80-minute back rower. He's a starter. So if you don't require him, unfortunately for Jeremiah, well, not unfortunately, he's won his second series or third series or whatever. He come on in 4 minutes. You don't need to force him. Like for edge back rowers, they're either 80 minutes and they come on for someone who's injured and they cover outside backs and you can move Kate Boyle around, or just leave him on the bench. He's still going to get paid his 30 grand. He's still part of an Origin decider win, and he'll be sweet. And
he probably would have known that. It's good things about Billy. He was like, all right, you're probably going to get...
Just be ready, big boy. Yeah. Just be ready.
Injuries, like because you don't know with these back rows.
Just be ready if your number's called. No ego.
Knocks,
No ego. All right, let's get to New South Wales. Trying to listen to this audio of Gus, and should we play it?
Like they never post a half-cock spray like that normally.
Credit to Queensland, they played perfect Origin football in that period. I can't say the same for New South Wales. In attack, they've looked very predictable. They've looked rushed. There's been no cohesion. In defence, they're really disconnected. All up and down the field, not just on their goal line. The goal line defence looks horrible. Defensively, their line looks a rebel. We're virtually sitting behind Queensland here in the first half. No matter where they were on the field, New South Wales look vulnerable in defence. The closer they got to their try line, the worse it got. There's more on offer for Queensland if they want it. in attack, New South Wales just looks so predictable. There's something dangerous coming at you. And Queensland are really connected. They're working as a group and running the ball all the time. They've rushed New South Wales in defence, which I don't think New South Wales were expecting. Maybe they thought there'd be less penalties and there'd be more leniency in that. They've taken advantage of it. Quite purely, they've played perfect Origin football. I don't know what New South Wales are doing. Origin.
They didn't make their first error until the 68th minute.
Far out. Fuck, Gus is good like that, didn't he?
Half time. They never post that, but that was up at half time on 9.
All right, so that's Gus's thoughts. Let's give us your thoughts, mates. Let's start off and go through the team. Dylan Edwards, statistically, exactly what you expect from Dylan Edwards. They, like I said, we talked about the kick plan from New South Wales, and I think it was trying to limit the meters and especially that first 10 meters of the kick returns. They did that as good as you possibly can. Fucking Dylan Edwards still had 32 carries for 270 meters.
32 carries. 32
153 kick meters he had. He is an absolute
He's
freak.
a weapon, isn't he?
He's a freak.
And
He's
he's so fit. I mean, he tries his ass off. You can't. He probably would have got like player for New South Wales. Dylan Edwards. He's probably the one that you could just go, yeah. Who had a good game? Because you always got to give man the matches and
reluctantly,
the game ball.
reluctantly,
you'd be like, fucking Dylan Edwards, because he just doesn't stop.
Because you just seen him all the time.
Yeah, like he's always having a crack. Like he wasn't a threat out the back or anything like that. It was very pedestrian our attack.
I'm not going to be super critical on Dylan because this is what I expect from Dylan. I don't expect him to have – it's the same as Hammer, right? Like if Hammer had a shitload of carries and moments but didn't come up with a try assist, that's not what I expect from Hammer.
No,
like for Kalen and Reece, yes. If there's no points scored, then you're like, all right. Or a Latrell at fullback, then you go, well, where's that silk that you expect? This is what we expect from Dylan Edwards.
Exactly.
And we'll get more critiquing or criticism around other players as we move our way down.
No, he was outstanding. I thought he was great. Like he just took the ball, like caught everything, no mistakes.
Yeah.
Defensively, like he was there, like most of the time. Like you can't help it when it's a fucking clean line break. Do you know what I mean? Like he was in and he was there in cover.
Yeah.
Like you can't help it. Like he wasn't
last
like
line of defense.
It wasn't like he wasn't there. Like, where's Dill? You know, like he's there, drawing past, try. You know what I mean? Like it was just. What do you do? He puts everything, leaves everything out in that field, and he was probably our best.
I thought Brian Toto was the best of the series for New South Wales across the board. Clearly hampered by the injury.
Yeah.
Clearly,
he needs a couple of weeks off, I reckon.
Yeah, he could. I don't know if he's afforded the rest, mate. Because Penrith, like I said, this is where I sort of worried about Penrith going into the back end of Origin. Is that I don't think Penrith can. Mate, Ivan's probably. Out of all the coaches, Ivan probably will be one coach who gives his player. I think they got the bye this week. Or no, they had the bye last week, so they're playing the Eels.
That's right,
Battle of the West on Sunday. Biz is going to have to play, unfortunately, and he's had this injury cloud. And it was evident, you could see it. Even a
drive through, like
even a hobbling Brian Toto still goes for 25, 269, and 82 post contact.
That's unbelievable, right?
He's a freak, mate.
Because me looking at optically, I'm just like, he looks hampered. He doesn't look like the same. And then I saw the stats this morning. I'm like, 269.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so we're back. This is the Levels Network again.
We had a scare.
I reckon New South Wales were hoping that this happened at halftime so they could take a little bit longer to reset.
The lights went off.
Remember there was a Super Bowl what happened?
Yeah.
Do you remember there was a blackout in a Super Bowl? Baltimore game? And they end up getting beat?
49ers.
Yeah.
Baltimore 49ers.
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah. Were the 49ers winning in that? Baltimore come back?
Baltimore was killing it and the 49ers come back and nearly won.
Okay, gotcha.
It was all planned.
So we're talking about Biz Up, talking about Brian Toto. Just like for me, the best player consistently for New South Wales across the series despite what he was carrying. Zach Lomax had the perfect debut Origin series last year. Started unbelievably in game one, just like all the rest of New South Wales. A little bit indifferent in the last couple of games. He was clearly flustered, had a couple of errors early on in this game. Defensively, I think he's the sort of player like I keep alluding to, when most players, when you have one, you can snowball them into 2 and 3. And he was the beauty of it, he was going after the game, but execution was way off.
Yeah. And he was like that. He's been like that in club level as well. The execution's been a little bit off for Parra. Like he tries his ass off of everything. He's not scared, and he doesn't like go into his shell if it doesn't come off the first time. He'll keep trying and trying and trying.
The Dragons game.
Yeah.
The Dragons game was a reflection.
Didn't stop.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But then
he's
comes up
nowhere
with an
near it.
offload that leads to Val Holmes taking it to the house and winning the game for the Dragons when
Yeah.
they're coming. Yeah,
It's
you're right.
weird. Yeah, it's weird. He doesn't care, and you got to admire that about him. But like sometimes you got to execute at a high level, right? And just playing at that. It's weird how, just say last year when we were up at Suncorp watching the decider, right? Like the level of game. That game was one of the best games we've ever seen, right?
This series,
This game was one of the fucking worst games I've seen.
this series was nowhere near, because when you come off a game like the decider last year, it raises the bar so much.
Yeah.
It's very hard to replicate that.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was brutal.
Like from the first minute to the 80th minute, and then we end up winning, which was probably more satisfying than ever. And then you look at this game, you're like, oh, were we ever in it? New South Wales?
You know what's a part of it? Yeah. So you still, like, even like I keep referring to myself as a neutral and try to do this as much as I can. I was expecting more from New South Wales at the back end. When Harry went over, I went, ooh.
Yeah. When it got to 14-0, I'm like, it's still, if we score next, it's game on.
It wasn't the scoreline, Mace.
But it
It was the fashion in which Tommy did and went through the line for the half break and then Harry barging over from dummy half.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't Harry with some silky show and go, get someone forward, goes over. He went
bad.
quick play the ball. They were skittled, bounced off a couple of defenders.
You don't score that. It's hard to score those at club level. Let alone Origin. I was just like, oh, fuck, that's not a good sign. You know what I mean? Like, and even when I say, were we ever in it? I'm like, yeah, we might have started off. They were all over us for pretty much the whole game. It's like one try can change everything.
Big time.
And we didn't have anything that changed momentum at all.
And even
Like,
at the
we were
start of
just
the second half.
under the pump the whole time.
Yeah, even at the start of the second half, like I alluded to, Hammer, try saver on Crichton. Latrell finally comes up. We had a couple of opportunities. Nice little tip to Brian. It looks like he's going to business scores those 9 times out of 10. Tommy did.
Just that desperation that you need in Origin. They just had it.
Stephen Crichton and Latrell Mitchell.
Did we feed them enough at the start?
Plenty.
I thought we did. I thought they just handled us. Like you got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here going, Queensland they out-enthused us and played better than us and made all those little Origin plays. And I'm just sitting here going, we got beat by a better side.
What more could
They
have
allowed us.
What more could have, because I'm going to get really critical on these two and Jerome and Nathan. Like they're my four. They're the four that I'm going to be really good. Like Zach didn't help New South Wales in any way, to be fair. And then that compounds it. But I expect, it's because of the expectations that I have of Latrell, Critter, Nathan, Jerome. But
It is because we put them in such high regard.
Yeah.
They're like top two in their positions, right? Two or three, right? Cleary's obviously a number 1-7. You got Latrell. Everyone thinks he's the best left centre. Critter, he's getting anointed as the best centre in the game.
yep, because some of the best centres are playing fullback.
Yeah, and it's like this is why
And-
we put him in such high regard.
and you know
we
why?
expect him to get the job done.
You know why the expectations are there? Because we talked about the heroics of the journeyman story of Shibasaki, who is a great story, but it's fucking Shibasaki, Gemet Shibasaki.
And fucking Toya.
And Robert Toya is in his first season and he's played 15 NRL games, and Shibasaki's played 20 first grade games in 5 years. These two guys are the cream of the crop, and they weren't able to come up with moments for this state.
They got enough ball to start cooking, and that's the. I mean, defense is obviously at that level. It's hard to make line breaks and skin them like that. But I was just thinking, fuck, they got enough ball to do something, because like the middles would have been going, okay, we're getting forward, we're going all right here. No, not fucking not. Wait, when they weren't running, they were.
I know. We'll get to them.
You're doing your job a little bit. Get the ball out to the big dogs out wide.
You know what this is a reflection of? It is, we can praise, it's the old school saying, forwards win matches, backs decide by how many. And they got opportunities, and they, shifting, I think shifting to get your outside backs some early ball is super overrated.
Yeah.
It needs to be, you need to win the battle through the middle.
Yeah, get
even more
ascendancy.
so. And then you can put the nice touches on. Like, Critter is the most clutch player of all time.
Yeah.
Like, Critter's never going to blow you away statistically, but he's going to come up with a crucial tackle at a time, or he's going to have a nice little deft touch for a kick. Like, even when Critter was about to have his moment back and forth, and this is not a reflection on Critter, but just as a whole in New South Wales, he puts a kick in and he gets a Critter-type bounce. It was going dead for all money. It was going to go 5 to 10 metres deep. It bounces up because Critter, for some reason, just have those things happen for him. Xavier Coates gets up and is expecting to be tackled straight away. He feels that no one's there. I think it's maybe Liam Martin, just typical Liam Martin, just balls out. Little bit of a shake on Liam Martin, goes towards the middle. No New South Wales Blues player to be seen through the middle. And I know they've done a whole bunch of defence up until that point, but I remember just watching that going, ooh.
Yeah, your middles.
Where's your middles? Where's your left edge?
Yeah, and everyone was saying that our forwards were so much better than theirs. Everyone, like all the pundits were going, yeah, they can't stop our forward pack. And I was saying before the game, I'm like, I don't think they fear our forward pack at all. They fear Payne Haas. That's why they brought Big Papa in to stop him, and Tino's pretty much his equal. And then, like, it's pretty much even from there on.
Especially when you got Paddy coming off the bench as well.
Yeah, Paddy Carrigan, you got Ruben Cotter. Everyone's sleeping on these guys because they're not they're not massive names like Payne Haas. Like, there's a lot of pressure on Payne. He needs more fucking help.
Let's get to the halves. Jerome and Nath. And Jerome's got it done now. Jerome was the heroics of Jerome last year.
Yeah.
Even though this will be super disappointing for him and New South Wales fans, you feel like he's ticked that box. Nathan's going to cop it, man.
Yeah. He knows it too.
He knows it.
And
He's,
the
you know
whole
what?
talk was like, it's his turn. Like, he surpassed Andrew Johns as the most capped 7
Wow.
in the history of New South Wales. But then if we talk about Origin, who do you think's a better player? Right? You go, Joey's had so many massive moments in Origin.
For sure.
It's chalk and cheese, right? And then
It's not even comparable.
Yeah, and you got a young kid like that who's probably going to rack up like over 30, close to, a fair bit. And he hasn't had those moments like
The pressure
like Joey.
continues to build, for sure.
It's if it wasn't building and everyone's thinking, even I was thinking this, he's had fucking moments. He's all right, no worries. I'm like, oh God, no, it's going to build.
When he adds another year to it, but not being able to get the job done, after doing everything you possibly can as a club player, like there's not one thing Boxy hasn't ticked as a club player. Now they're just
Tom Dearden's got a Wally Lewis medal.
Tommy Dearden's got
Yeah,
all this.
like that's what I mean. Like we put Cleary in a fucking stratosphere, and everyone was ready to anoint him as like the fucking man. I still do, but I'm
Guilty?
like, yeah, but we all are. Like he's an absolute gun. Do you know what I mean? But like, what did you expect from him last night?
More.
Yeah, more taking the line on. Like I don't know. Like I'm
Full
looking
control.
at him going, what can he do? But Luai, what could he do? Like, it just looked disjointed all over the shop. No one's on the same page. I was just like, the fuck is happening? Did you train? Did we train all week? What the fuck have we been doing?
I was
in the Blue
going to raise
Mountains?
that as a question, like the disrupted week with the groin and all that sort of stuff.
So, like, the groin is an issue for sure, but I don't want people to be sitting there going, fuck, you always stick up. No, he's played. He played in both. He also played a game of club. It's clearly affecting him. Yeah. It is clearly affecting him, but it's no excuse. You cannot use that. The sympathisers for Nathan, you cannot use that as an excuse because he's out there. He puts his body on the line. Now, those are tough decisions, and I've never been in that position before where I'm the premier playmaker in the competition for my state and have to make a decision about whether I can go or not because he has sat and watched too many series now. Even though he's the most capped, he's missed too many as well.
Oh, he's missed about 8 or 9.
And the reflection and I think my answer for the question you're asking is, what can they do better? Is a reflection of Nath, Jerome, and Laurie. Yeah. Like The reason we're glowing so much about Queensland is the efforts of the forwards. Yeah, great. Yardage carries for Shibasaki and Toya, awesome. Dearden and Munster, Harry Grant and Hammer controlled the game.
Yeah.
The spine was just better.
The spine.
It is what it is. Like
I said that at the start, remember? Queensland spine's better.
you did.
You know what I mean? But like, I expected Cleary just to like really fucking have his moment. And then I was just watching the game and going, fucking, what's he supposed to do? He's not going to get the ball and run like Payne Haas and just absolutely destroy her.
18 carries, 18 runs for 114 metres.
You know what I mean? Tried his
Jerome
nuts off.
15 for 101.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like when they were under the pump, they probably thought, I've got to fucking run the ball.
Let's try
I don't want you to run the ball. None of you halves. Get the fucking ball.
Let's try figure this out because there's clearly an issue. And I tell you who stocks is rising and rising.
Katoa.
Not Katoa.
Mitchell
No.
Moses.
Mitchell Moses stocks are rising as an Origin player
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. He fucking killed it last year.
and killed it in game 1.
3.
Pardon?
Fucking decided last year.
No, yeah. So last year, yes,
Yeah.
of course. Right, he gets the job done without. So he comes in game 2.
Yeah.
Nico was the one who had game 1 because Nath missed.
Yeah.
Goes on, wins a series, has a clutch moment. Turned into just a ball runner in game 1 of this series. Injures his foot for Parramatta after or a training?
It was a training
It was
injury.
a training injury.
Yes, correct.
In order for someone to be criticised, you have to then bring someone up. And right now, Mitch Moses is sitting home just going, he wouldn't be stoked because he wants the state to win, but he's going, Mitch is the lock for next year
But that's what
out of the 3.
That's when I'll answer my own question. That's what I expected. What Mitch Moses did last year. Taking the line on. Fucking dummy here and there, like scoring, like just putting the New South Wales on your fucking back. That's what I expected. But you got to give credit Queensland for their defence. But like, you still Nathan Cleary.
Here's my question for you. They're elite and they've proven it, and they're the best club players of all time. What's not translating for Nathan, Jerome, Dill, and Isaiah specifically at this level? Do you think? And I'm gonna try answer it. I think they are so well drilled and detailed at Penrith, and they're so much just better as a core group at club level. Whereas it's like when you're the gun players. The comparison is when you're coming through the grades and you've got a gun player who just runs over everyone in like the 16s, 18s in a different way. And then you get to first grade and you're like, oh shit, now I like that big Polynesian player, Willie Mason from Toronto West, used to just run over everyone in Newcastle. Yeah, he's still effective. But then there's a tough guy called Luke O'Donnell from Westfield Sports who can tackle him, you know? Like, I feel like for whatever reason when they get into Origin, they're not able to expose the weaknesses that they get in club level.
No. And I just think because they know each other so well at club level and they know, like Isaiah, everyone's just told him, don't fucking play at the back. Don't do that. Players are like a third front rower.
You've been one of those guys.
Yeah,
you want
and
him to
I'm
see him
just
play, right?
sometimes like those plays work. You just got to pick and choose when you can go out the back and hit Cleary and then Luai and then, you know, like Liam Martin or Crichton. That worked last year. Like it's a fine line. Like you got to know when to run or when to pass the ball and step out because Yoey's got all those skills. It's a fine line with Yoey because he's the key. He plays 80 minutes. He gets a lion's share of the ball. Yeah. He does it all the time, and Cleary goes off him. Cleary hardly ever gets the ball just one off the ruck and goes to the line. No. He's very pedestrian when he gets the ball off the 9 and he's going to the right and it's just a dummy.
He's trying to set something up.
It's like at Origin, they're just coming up and they're just following his inside hip and chasing him, right? And then when he does cross someone up, he's fucking getting smashed. Right? Sometimes him and Yoey, they're on the same page all the time at that level in club.
Yeah.
Right? And all the back rolls are pushing up and Edwards is out the back at the perfect line and everyone's doing their thing, you know? Where Origin, you don't. People like the ball at different stages. So Crichton might want the ball. Angus Crichton want the ball early. Yeah. He doesn't like hitting holes sometimes. You know, Liam Martin, you know how Liam Martin wants the ball. You know, like it's just different little things. And I thought they would have sorted this out now. It just looked like they were on totally different pages last night. And Cleary looked like he just didn't look good.
I
It didn't look like threatening the line. Where I saw Moses like last year, I'm like, fucking hell, what a gun! He's arrived. Like he's the dude. He's our guy.
He's the one player that I'm going to go do a deep dive on when I go back and watch the game.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it later when I go back to
when you watch it live. Like, there are some things that you like pick up and like what he could have get, like what people can do better. My huge part of my focus is everything Jerome and Nathan related. I'm gonna have more information for that and going to be able to get into that a little bit more detail because it's like I'm asking you questions because I don't know completely know the answers.
We'll do it on Monday. We'll go through it again, like a little bit, and just go.
And you help us out too. We always rely on you guys. Like, what's your thoughts? We, that's the beauty of this show. We're happy to take your thoughts as long as it's constructive. People are going to hammer him, and that's.
Just watch the game. Do yourself a favour. Watch the game again. All right, everyone gets so caught up in the moment, right? They watch it once with their eyes and then go, "He sucks. Don't pick him in Origin again."
You said Max King didn't know what it was like to be an Origin player after game one. When he came off the bench, had a really good impact, really good stats, because he was never in a cycle of what it's like to be an Origin player. Now he has.
Now he understands on the back foot the whole time. And what are you supposed to do in 23 minutes?
More.
You know? You reckon more?
Yeah, for sure. Like
what was his stats? He had 4 hit-ups.
The reason I say that, Mace, is because we were, and deservedly so, critical of guys like Fodder Waker and Beaufort and Trent Liero and all these guys in game one. It's like, this is a hard one for you. You're a Bulldog.
No. I'm concerned with the coaching and like how many minutes you play your middles. Like you have a look at how many minutes. Like I know Big Papa wasn't going to play that many minutes, but like Carrigan and like it was shared.
In saying that for Max and sticking up for Max was never ever a part of my best 17.
Same
ever, and it was a huge call for Laurie to go with Max King, and unfortunately for Max, especially when you're given 22 minutes, he's going to cop it heavily.
You got to. When you give it, and I think he knows, like, before the game, I'm going to give you the first 20, 25 minutes, you've got to go fucking mad. You've really got to set the standard.
But he's not that player.
No, I know that. I know. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, your fucking job is in Origin. You're in the Origin arena. It's the most, like, criticised arena you can be in. And you're front row, and you're going against Queensland in a decider. You're starting. I need fucking fireworks.
Here we go.
Someone needs to cop it.
Here we go. And you'll appreciate this. And again, I'm trying to take some stuff away from you because it's going to be hard. We talked about how Tino would have been feeling running out of the tunnel next to Josh Papali'i. And currently where he is in his career, and he's a great journeyman story as well.
Yeah.
But what do you reckon Payne's thinking when he's going and running out of the tunnel and he's like Max King at Origin? Like, that's the difference. Like, and even the silence says a fair bit there, Mace, right? And again, this is super critical of Max King, but this is what we pride ourselves. I pride myself on constructive criticism. Man, like, I would have even tinkered with, if you are going to go this 17 and he was underwhelming, and we'll get to Stefano in a bit, maybe even just go on Stefano to start the game with Payne.
Bigger body.
Just a bigger body.
And he's got that bump in him as well.
Yep.
Like he's not as Max King's not.
Oh, that's who Tommy didn't try to hit. It was Stefano. It wasn't.
He went flying.
Yeah, he went flying off the kickoff, off the start of the second half. Yeah. No, it was Ruben Cotter. Ruben Cotter. I'm getting my players mixed up.
He went flying off the kickoff.
Stefano started the second half with punch that I'm sort of alluding to here that was just lacking with Max.
Yeah.
It's not his game. Max is not an elite. He's a really, really, really good NRL player. Can he be a Lindsay Collins type sort of Kurt Capewell sort of just player for New South Wales? Maybe. But I thought there were better choices, and I've said that all along, and I was surprised he was part of the 17. And now when you look back on it, this is going to come with it.
Mitch Barnett is a big loss.
Mitch Barnett, too. He's another one that...
Because it fucked up our little dynamic in the middle. Like, Mitch was... He what's the word? Like, he... What's the fuck? Sorry. What's the word? Like, with him and Payne Haas. He complements
Compliments.
Payne Haas so well, because Payne can just do what he wants, and then Mitchy Barnett just rips off the back of it. He's got a bit of a skill. He's got an offload. Like he's got that dog in him. You know what I mean? Like he'll throw down. He's super aggressive, right?
I'm trying to get back here.
And that's what you need.
Yeah. Oh, I've just lost
That's exactly what you need.
1 sec. I want to get it up just to. Mitch Barnett would only played 30 minutes max in game 1.
41.
Ooh, 41. Yeah, so he did get a second stint. But you know what? You know why you get a second stint? It's because the way you play in that first 20 minutes. Because Mitch Barnett definitely went off after 15 or 20 in game 1 and he got a spell. And then that's when Max King come on and actually did his better work. So if you don't have a Mitch Barnett, maybe that doesn't allow you to have a guy like Max King in the bench or part of your 17.
And that's why like he made over 100 metres. He got on the field when it wasn't like we were on the front foot. You know, so it's an important role. The front row it's the most important role on the field. You've got to get that ascendancy through the middle.
Reece Robson. I thought he had a pretty good series. Just typical Reece Robson. Yeah, he's similar to me to Dylan Edwards. Like, you're not expecting Reece Robson to come up with a try assist. He's going to make 40-plus tackles. He's going to have really good service. Just didn't feel like his service was bad in any way. And he's going to keep turning up like loose ball, scrappy. That's who he is. Payne Haas. 63 minutes, played a big stint, was doing his best to weather the storm, carrying an injury into it as well. I don't know
what you expect from Payne.
Yeah,
like he's been busted for like the last month, getting through Origin, his quad, his back, all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? So for him to even get through that game and still play, and still, you know, he can hold his head up high.
15 for 128, 50 post-contact meters, 41 tackles, 0 misses.
Yeah, like he just does like stats like that. And he'd be sitting there filthy on that game. When most front rows would be like, that's a fucking great game.
Well, he's the best front rower in the game statistically. So those are underwhelming numbers for him offensively.
I mean, because there wasn't that much. Like usually you probably get 20 touches, 20-something touches in those sort of minutes, 63 minutes, but they limited it.
Tell you who was limited as we get down to him now. I'm just thinking about it.
Back row.
Yeah. Fuck, they did a good job on Angus Crichton.
Yeah.
Because Liam Martin's not going to blow you away with stats. No. 5 for 54 is about his average week in, week out. But he's going to try Basher, and he tried to sting Tino a couple of times, and he got a couple of little half hits, but he didn't get any errors off any mistakes from the Queenslanders. No. And... yeah, like you could tell he was having a crack, but he just like everyone in New South Wales, they took care of him and he was super.
Care of our back row, like
underwhelming,
pretty good. Like our back row, I thought, you know, if you go on like Yowie, Crichton, and Liam Martin, that's the Australian back row.
We'll get to that in a bit.
You know what I mean? Like that's the Aussie back row. Like they handled it quite easily because they were working so hard from the middle, and you couldn't isolate Dearden. You couldn't isolate Munster. They were just like, they were getting so much help from the inside because their middles were working so much harder. And they were a bit fresher. And they were completing all their sets and they weren't like, they were winning all the field position. All those little things come into it.
We're talking about tactically how aggressive Queensland were during the call-on at halftime, and Siebes come up with a really nice play and he caught it basically at halftime. He's like, they need to chuck a variation on that left edge. They either need to hit Angus Crichton on an outball and use Latrell and Dylan Edwards as decoys. They almost score. Hammer comes up with a huge effort. They didn't go back to it at all again after that. Then they just went back to early ball to Latrell.
And who do you blame for that? Your halves.
Coaches and halves, Jerome and Nathan.
Yeah.
Jerome and Nathan combined,
They look dangerous sometimes. And I'm like, why don't we just try that play again? Like, instead of going out, come in.
The next set, they did it on the right-hand side, but rather than running just a normal outball, they tried to run an outball with a tip in the inside to Dylan Edwards. That was like a different variation.
Yeah. Just disjointed. That's the word. Disjointed attack. And you can fucking train as good as you can all week and everything like that and execute at training and everyone looks so good at captain's runs and like the fucking left on rights. And then you get out there in the middle of that and it just goes to shit. It just fucking sucks. And that's exactly what they would have been thinking going, fuck, how are we getting ourselves in this position? Yeah. We should be better than these guys. It shouldn't be 20-0. How the fuck are we going to get out of this? It was so underwhelming watching that game. I was sitting in the fucking Red Bull box just going, because there were so many fucking Queenslander supporters as well for Red Bull, all coming in. I was just like, fuck off. Just leave me alone.
You have a good afternoon, like a good night though. With
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
box?
fun.
Good, nice
No,
box?
it was good. It was a great box, but like they were all outside.
Yeah.
And I sat on the inside on the window and just like watched it. And then every time they scored, they were all looking back. I was like, fuck off.
Yowie?
I don't know. Like he does just yoey things, right? He just works his ass off. Like what's his stats? What do you do? Like 40-something tackles?
13 for 118, 35 post contacts. Can't remember really him passing the ball a whole heap. 49 tackles with 1 miss.
Yeah, he needs to there's a fine line with Yoey at Origin because at club level he's probably the best lock in the game.
Yep, agreed.
But in Origin, he has to play a bit different. He needs.
I think he has. I think he's limited his game in the last couple.
I know, yeah, but probably too much. Like you can pass a little bit. Like you can't take that whole passing game out of your game because of a few pundits go, you need to play tougher, you need to do this, this, and this. Yeah, there's still a fucking space for the pass, right? When you can bounce out on the third tackle, bounce out to like the C or the 4-man. Go out the back.
So here's when, and this is not
It's
a crack.
hard.
This is not a crack at anyone.
Yeah.
But like when you say pundits, like you've said it, Joey said it,
yeah.
Joey said it, and this is not like I said. It doesn't, to a degree, it doesn't matter what style you play as long as you win.
Yeah.
If he tucks the ball under his,
You're right. You're right. Every time, sometimes like he passes the ball and then we've won and we don't care what Yoey does. Right?
Exactly.
Now it's like, oh, he needs to do this. I'm like, as I said, he does Yoey things. Like it's just like, well, he passes sometimes. He's got a good offload. He works his ass off. You need that guy in the middle. Maybe he doesn't need to play fucking 80 minutes, but
okay, that's 80
minutes. 'Cause even when he was coming off the bench last year,
Yep.
like he'd end up like so. Jakey was playing the first 20, and then he plays 60. Seemed like a lot more energy.
There you go. There's that's a really, and not to say we don't always give it, but this, because I didn't know the answer, because I'm thinking they're going, fuck, what more can we get from Yoey? That's a great take.
Yeah.
Like you move Paddy to the bench, who's can play that similar role, played that similar role. You insert someone in for the Queenslanders, it was Trent Liero.
Yeah.
Even though he's got the potential to play like Yoey, it just shifts the mindset.
It's all about balance, right?
Yeah.
In your forward pack. And they look like they balanced it out way better than us. Right? Like Ruben Cotter on that right edge. You got you got Tino. Like it just looked good. And when Carrigan come on and Lindsay, I'm like, haven't lost anything. Didn't lose anything. No punch. Who'd we bring off the bench?
Spencer and Stefano. So Spencer had 2 stints. Stefano, I believe, only had the 1. I thought they had some nice carries.
Yeah, right. They ran hard, like they did their thing. They tried. So it's hard. It's hard to come off the bench in Origin when you're under the pump.
Yeah.
And both those guys come on pretty much when it was like 14-0 or 20-0.
Would have been about that.
Yeah.
It would have been definitely 14.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
Oh, no, sorry. It wasn't 20, but it would have been
14-0 for
maybe
when
8 or
Spencer-
14.
Yeah.
Maybe 18 or 14.
When Spencer got on, you're like, what do? You just try and get the ball, try and lift the boys, try and put a hit on, try and run as hard as you can like he does. But like to no avail, right?
Well, after all this, and this we'll get to a little bit, and we're going to talk about the media, and then there's all that shit talk at the start after game 1, and we were a part of it. We're like we sort of bought into the I guess the drama of Spencer screaming and yahooing at the crowd in Suncorp and not getting kicked to. Geez, they limited him really well in games 2 and 3. Like Spencer did for me. I'm looking at Spencer and like I'm looking at the minutes and I was like, ooh, that was a little bit. 35 didn't feel like it.
No, the 35 is enough to make a lot of damage.
Yeah, felt like 20.
Yeah,
felt like 15. And Stefano, I thought again, I got criticised for. I guess giving him a bit of a rap in game 2. There's just a couple of carries. It's almost his first carry of every stint where he comes on and he gets the big bumpers up. And he skittles someone. On this occasion, it was Ruben Cotter. In game 2, it was Harry Grant. But then outside of that, 0 impact.
Yeah, cumbersome sort of thing. Like he gets tackled quite easy. Like when you're just like leg speed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like where Carrigan and even Lindsay look quicker. They look more powerful than us. It's probably fatigue as well. You know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. But like I expected a lot more from those two.
Do you know what I reckon weighs in on New South Wales and every year? And we're going to talk about it because I want to talk about coaching a little bit as well. Is just the what's the saying with choices? Like the luxury.
Too much.
The luxury of having too many choices.
Who would you have picked in the middle? But I don't think we've got that many good middles in the game at the moment for New South Wales. Like, Mitch Barnett's out, right?
Yeah, we do not know still. There are going to be plenty of people just screaming right now. And one was a part of your team and one was a part of my Game 1 team. And they didn't play any part in the series. Keon Kalamatangi for you would have generated way more leg speed and versatility. And I agreed with, and then he was a part of my best team come Game 2, especially when Mitch Barnett went down. And the other one's Terrell May. Now, people, again, there are people who do not like Terrell May will say, all right, maybe he's not an Origin player because that doesn't replicate. We still don't know.
Until he plays.
Until he plays, we still do not know. And we will not know until potentially next year now because we did not see either of them. And the other big one is Hudson Young, 27 minutes. For Laurie and this decision with Hudson Young and Connor Watson, they were chasing points. Makes so much more sense to bring Hudson Young and Connor Watson on.
Like, sped the game up. Watson sped the game
Take
up.
the extra front rower off. This is when I want to see a bench back rower come onto the field, if any. If they were winning, I would have viewed Hudson Young the same as Jeremiah. Just keep him on the bench. If anything, that's why I was probably a little bit more critical of Laurie when the game was in the balance. And they started to get some ascendancy. I would have pulled Hudson off a little bit earlier and just gone with the more traditional middles. But again, very hard for Hudson and Connor when they come on. They were chasing points. There was a few errors. They were going sideline to sideline. Again, underwhelming.
In the game too, it's easy for Connor Watson to get in the game because he's playing 9.
Yeah,
just gets the ball and runs.
Right? But also, he was young. Like, how many times I remember just Connor Watson getting out a hooker and just like fuck, and then go on the other side of the ruck.
Weirdo. Fucking not good. But it's hard. Coming off the bench like that and you're chasing points and you're going, you're the impact player, right? And even Spencer, they all come off. They're all in the field in certain parts of the game where they were just chasing points the whole time. And you have a whole different mentality. And it's hard because Queensland's up and they're fucking wanting to bash you every single run. They're way more physical than us in every single thing. Agreed. All the 50-50s, the hitting, everybody got bashed every time they got the ball. Where I expected that from us to do to them, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? But the whole time I was just sitting there just going, what's happening? It's a fucking decider.
All right, well, let's get to the
85,000 just sitting there waiting, and the fucking crowd couldn't. They took the crowd out of it in the first 10 minutes. They didn't say a fucking word.
Yeah, they did. I couldn't even. When we're calling the game, we watch the game in mute. So we obviously don't hear the commentary from 9, and then we don't hear the crowd noise. You could see
nothing.
You could I could watch, and I didn't even need to have the volume to see that there's no energy in the crowd at all.
Zero. Go to fucking the ones that were been at Suncorp, mate. It just shits on that fucking A-call.
All right,
Jesus.
Coach's review. Laurie is going to be the other one who's under immense pressure. Actually, let's start with the winning coach because he made some fucking huge decisions.
Yeah.
I thought at times during this series and a reflection of last series that he was under duress and under pump and he didn't handle a couple of the situations well, specifically around Game 2. But the players rallied for him. The difference around detail in the decisions that he's made now is not a fluke. It's 4 series. He's won 3 from 4.
Has he?
He's won 3 from 4, Billy Slater, as a coach. And he was probably underdogs for all of them. Everything that anyone talks about when it comes to Billy Slater is attention to detail. And when he makes decisions, there's a plan. There's clearly a plan.
Especially with the bench. I reckon that was the best move. For more was in the first game.
Yep.
And then he got him out,
Yep.
dropped Carrigan, one of your best players for the last 4 years.
Yeah, agreed.
And then put him on the bench, put Lindsay Collins in after he's played 28 minutes with the Roosters and have confidence in him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like...
Dropping DCE as skipper after Game 1.
Fucking
huge call. Dropping Mo Fodawaker after winning Game 2 to bring in Papa because he felt like that wasn't going to get the job done.
Yeah.
Huge call. Picking Shibasaki over Reece Walsh when you could have left Hammer on the wing, Val in the centres, and pick the wonder boy Reece Walsh, who he loves to death. You can tell he is so super close with Walshy and loves him as a player, but he would have viewed Walshy as not quite ready coming back from that injury. Huge call. He's made a career in coaching of making huge calls, and the players keep rewarding the legend that is Billy Slater. And now he's a legend as a player, and he has cemented his legacy as a coach now in the 4 series.
Yeah, easy.
Can I add the captaincy of Munster? That was his call.
Captaincy of Munster.
The DCE dropping is the one that everyone's slept on.
Don't sleep on that too, because Money's not a club captain. Harry Grant's the captain at Melbourne.
Yeah, I know. Like those
Paddy
decisions.
Carrigan is captain the Broncos.
Yeah, and he gives it to that guy, and look what happens. Like, they're ballsy calls, which could have easily went the other way. Fucking ridiculous. I'm sick of him.
Here's my thing.
Fucking sick of Bill.
Here's my thing with the dynasty and the coaching. And Laurie's going to get it. And like I said, we pride ourselves on we've got a great relationship with Laurie. We've done stuff with Laurie before. Laurie is a great of New South Wales Rugby League. Me and you fully respect what Laurie did for the state because we lived it. We were going to high school. We were in high school. We were in junior footy when it was happening. These players are now so far removed from that era that not only is there no one sort of from the era that when they were younger that were coming through that had sustained success, that there was so much swapping and changing that there's not a player that they're super familiar with from their era that can come close to what Billy Slater is for Queensland.
Nowhere near it.
And then not only do they have Billy Slater as their coach, they've got Jonathan Thurston as their assistant coach, they've got Nate Miles as their club manager, they've still got the iconic Alfie from that era as just the guy who comes in and sings the team song better than anyone could ever sing it for Queensland. Everything about the makeup of Queensland is so much just so hard for New South Wales as a starting point. And I know I'm saying this in hindsight, but I know you appreciate where I'm coming from. It is time. There's two guys that can not replicate the aura, but create the buy-in that Billy, Jonathan Thurston, Cam Smith at times over years, and even Alfie's still been a part of camp. I think there are only two people, and because they tick so many boxes: aura, footy IQ, and even what's the word? What's something like they're super? Is it relative? Like they're
relatable?
Not relatable. Like they're relevant. Relative.
Yeah,
they're relevant in. They're probably the two biggest names for either network that we currently have. It's Andrew and Matthew Johns.
Yeah.
Like the amount of respect that those two guys have from even the younger generation now because they've been so relevant for so long and they've got historic moments, more so Joey on the field, like not to diminish anything that Matty's done, but Matty is so well respected for so many reasons for everything he's done in the media. If New South Wales are fair dinkum and they've got to try to force these two guys to coach.
Yeah. And
Not
I'd
forced.
even throw Danny Badiris in there.
Bedsy's your Nate Miles.
He needs to be.
He's there as well.
Like he's been there for Freddie for those 6 years, and I just think he could be even like the head coach and have.
So here's my thing, and I ask you this question. This is out of full respect to Bedsy. Me and you think Bedsy is a legend, an absolute legend of the game. We thought Freddie, for sure, we think Freddie is. Those two aren't immortals.
No.
Joey's an immortal. So when you start talking about Billy, and we don't know if Billy will be, but Billy's in the chat of the conversation. Cam Smith definitely is. JT is going to be an immortal. Mel was an immortal.
Yeah.
Wally Lewis was an immortal. It's going to require immortality.
Yeah. It's just a matter of if Joey wants to do it, right?
Probably not. It's been so long.
No, they don't. He doesn't want to do it because of the fucking That's what I'm saying. Like, where if you gave the head job to like Danny Badiris, right, and he just had Joey and Matty as assistant coaches.
See, I don't know.
But then they're all coaches.
But
right?
I felt like we've seen that with Freddie and Joey.
Joey's never in camp, mate. It was a fucking...
That's why New South Wales, and I'm saying
Danny was in fucking, just say if Bedsy was the coach, Joey would be in camp every day.
Wasn't he that with Freddie?
No, he wasn't.
Oh.
He'd go down fucking once a week, down to Coogee, they'd photograph him and pretend that he was in camp. He was never in camp with the team 24/7 like all the rest of them.
Yeah.
So it was just like the guys would just take a photo of him. He's never in camp. He comes down once or twice and they take a photo like he's in camp. He's not, right? But if you had guys like, just say if Matty took it, right? Or Betsy, you just get Joey in there the whole fucking time and just feed off his energy and like, imagine what he could teach all these young kids, man.
It'd be... See, that's why it's
that's
why it's got to be Joey the guy. Joey the guy with Bedsy there as an assistant who's been doing some stuff in coaching. And Matty, tactically, the way Matty talks about the game and sees the game and is relevant.
I'm with you. I just get all three of them, just fucking go. Coaches.
And here's the thing, and with Queenslanders, if that level of Joey and Matty and all that were available and they are imprinted. It's because of the media. Like they are so important in the media landscape of what rugby league is that it's a whole heap of pressure and it's a whole heap of time that they don't have to do it. But those two are the most passionate New South Wales fans that I see talking about the game and getting emotional about the game. So I reckon they should do it. I reckon enough's enough. Like, it's their time.
I think it's like with watching last night, you'd be like, fuck. If you had the opportunity, if you were like Joey or someone like that, you're like, fuck it, just take it. Give it one crack, at least one.
How many times are you just going to sit and watch it as New South Welshmen, the more talented team, get dusted?
Yeah.
And not make a huge call and make a huge play to go get.
How do you think New South Wales Rugby League are looking at? Are they looking at game 2 going, well, we're 2 points off, or we're going, we've just butchered game 3?
They're in all sorts. They're in all sorts.
Yeah, it's fucked
Do you
up.
genuinely think Laurie's under pressure? Like, not under pressure, but like they'll
Big
look
time.
at this?
Big time,
We
yeah.
fucking lost the series. And then they'll start building narratives and shit like that about like how fucking, if he's a shit coach, if he's a good coach, if he didn't get the best out of couldn't get the best out of Luai, couldn't get the best out of Cleary. Like, they blame coaches for that. Where I don't really. I'm like, that's on you as a player. There's a game plan out there. Execute it.
We've got Craig Bellamy next to him. Like, we haven't mentioned his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But both Belly, for as great as Belly's been at club level now, his record at Origin isn't great, and it must make that's a really tough situation for Belly, because he went against the big three back in the day, and now he doesn't have that level there. But it's still the skipper Cameron Munster and his skipper for club level. Like, it'd be weird for Bellamy. Like, tactically, yes, it's great. It was always going to be a great pickup for Laurie, but fuck it, like assistants and that, yeah, they're great, they're important. But who's given the final message and who's getting the complete buy-in?
That's exactly right.
It's Billy Slater.
Who's given the final fucking message?
It's Billy Slater for Queensland, and it's Laurie Daly. And in my opinion, there's a huge gap from the difference with at least the way that these younger generation are viewing.
Bring Gus back? No, should be part of the camper.
Yeah.
If you get that whole crew in, like the Johns and the Bedsies, I reckon Gus would stick his head in.
For sure, Gus with Joey.
You'd like that. I just love Joey. I'm fucking good friends with Joey. I'm like, coach fucking New South Wales. No.
There was that.
No.
Would have been, what, 20?
He will fucking, they could throw $1 million at Joey and he'll say, no.
I reckon
because it's not about cash.
It's not about money, mate.
It's never going to be about money.
Because he's got to put his balls on the line as well, right? You got to put your pride on the line. You got to put your footy acumen, and everyone's thinking Joey's like the fucking greatest player of all time. Then you get fucking beat.
But this is well, and you know Joey better than me, but I know Joey a little bit as well. It's also the time that's involved with it.
Oh, fucking Joey's got a lot of time on his hands.
Well, exactly, but he loves his time off, right? He loves going for a surf. That's the point.
It's 6 weeks out of the
He
year.
comes in, he goes, he does his media,
Just
he gets
one
paid good
fucking
money.
year.
Like, he's got a great life, Joey. I see Joey
I know.
about 4 or 5 times a year. I don't want to give away his location, but I run into him about 4 or 5 times a year, whether it be at media. And I love talking footy with Joey. But Joey, you are the guy.
He's our guy.
If you want to change the narrative, you want to change, you are the most passionate New South Wales Blue
And the smartest motherfucker of all time.
of all time.
Of all time. Like, you can see what...
Arguably the best New South Wales player of all time. Like, will go down. He's part of the conversation at least.
Fucking easy.
Nath knows it. Joey knows it. Dylan Edwards, Luai know it.
Imagine if you're a young kid and you just had if you were, even Cleary would be in awe of Joey, right? Joey's
course
not even
he
in
would.
camp. Why wouldn't Laurie bring him in camp?
Well, there was a clip. It would have been maybe 17 or 18 of Joey doing kicking drills with Cleary at Coogee in Blues camp early on.
Yeah.
His brain.
He's done heaps of that stuff over the years.
His brain, like Joe, if you talk to him about football, it's a fucking joke. Like an absolute joke. He's on another level, like another stratosphere. Like when I'm thinking I sort of know what's going on a little bit, I'll just ask him questions about sevens and all that kind of stuff and what they should do and this and that, what he sees. And he sees those sevens like JT and him in particular, they're on another fucking level. They're looking at like what they're going to the right side and they're looking at what the four men's doing, 3, 2, and 1 all at the same time within where guys are trying to smash them from the inside and everything like that, and they'll see little cues and that. They can read it, shoulders out, shoulders in. It's just like, God, fuck. I said, you see all this shit within like 1.5 seconds? Then you got to pull the trigger? Yeah. Bring Joey back.
Even just the passion, the way they view the game. And the best part about Matty and Andrew, and they've had a stoush over it too, going back to the SEN days when Joey stopped doing SEN, is they understand what makes Queensland great.
Yeah.
They understand the mentality of Queensland probably better than any New South Welshman. Yeah. So that's another, all right, that's what Queensland are. We've got, Queensland get Origin, mate. They would fucking buy into that and they would turn that from a negative into a positive.
What about a forwards coach as well? The Blues need a new forwards coach?
Bring Gallion.
I can just hear everyone we get it all the time, even when we don't talk about coaching, let alone OG. So, New South Wales, I've written this down. New South Wales media versus Queensland media. It's a factor.
Yeah?
It's a factor.
Elaborate.
Constantly writing articles like, the worst Queensland team of all time and doing all these things that motivate Queensland before the series is done. Why do they always do it? I always sit back at the back end of the series and now we can do it. And you hear little comments from people and they bring up stuff that has been said. And the prime example is like Woodsy lit the ultimate fire under everyone.
It's Woodsy's fault.
It's not just him. I'm talking about
Woodsy's fault.
No. Bulldog Richie loves it as well. Like that's his bread and butter.
He comes out and hammers it.
He's always the biggest that he goes hard because he feels like you need to build that up. It's like that. There's so much noise and there's fucking talk of a dynasty after game 1 when they've won one series and one game, and Queensland just. At times you look at it like, why don't Queensland say more? Like in the build-up, and Gordy's getting hammered on 360 for not being more aggressive and going after New Zealand. It's like Queensland just sit back and wait and then go, just do it real smug after the fact.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to look up the back of the Courier Mail today.
Yeah, so the after game 1, Bulldog Richie, the Bullfrog, wrote something about it was something about their squad. The biggest losers? Something like that. That was his article around Queensland after game 1.
Yeah, what we don't do, or what we do to Queensland is just motivate them.
Huge early crow.
Yeah.
Always go the early crow.
We won one fucking game. Relax.
What date was...
It would have been after game 1, mate. So...
the Courier Mail...
Thursday,
19th of June?
Potentially, or maybe in the lead up to game 2, hammering them in the game 2, and there's like a...
It comes from journos as well. Shut up.
I know, that's my point. It's the media.
That's what I mean.
It's past players, it's
you don't
media.
have to
It's taking too long to load.
Yeah.
You don't need
right.
to say
I get-
anything.
People at home will know what the article I'm talking about.
Not
from
until
Bulldog.
we win, right? Now we're sitting here like fucking idiots.
But do we forget every time?
Yeah, we do.
I feel like we forget every time.
We do. Every year we win one game. Dynasty.
Because
One
you look at-
game.
because they look at the team on paper, and I'm guilty of it as well. Going New
Bigger
South Wales,
names.
they'll probably win.
Cleary.
I don't go making any crazy statements off the back of my thoughts. I'm just like, yeah, they'll probably win. But
They should win.
they should win.
They should. That's what you're trying
But
to
it's
say.
like the poking the bear. Like,
Yeah, they're all sitting up, and this is just feeds on the Queens, and it makes this Queensland spirit and all this bullshit that they go on their mantra and everything like that. Like we get Origin, we don't get Origin. Queensland gets Origin. Like I get it.
it legitimizes the.
It legitimizes everything that we think that Queensland are.
What does
It's
New
just
South Wales need to do to get Origin? Like, what's
Oh fucking! We get Origin, right? You just need to perform better. That's it. It's performance based. Like get out there and just like if we play to our potential, there's no way we should be getting beat like this.
Well, here's what the New South Wales media can do for the players come next year.
Shut up.
Don't talk shit. Stay humble until you actually got the result. Until you got the result, praise Queensland. It's what you do. Like if you're ever going to contest with someone and it's boring and it doesn't sell newspapers and it doesn't fucking get clicks on YouTube and listens for podcasts, but stay quiet, be diplomatic, don't stoke anyone, don't point anyone out.
It doesn't sell papers, does it?
But it doesn't sell papers and it doesn't get you views and it doesn't get you listens.
that's where
but
you gotta-
Queensland do that. They just sit up there in Queensland and you're like, fucking, like Gordy's on 360 during the whole time.
Wasn't saying anything.
He doesn't say fuck all.
No, I watched him. He just said nothing.
He
Just
gets
laughed.
frustrated.
Yeah.
He gets infuriated. You can tell his energy is he wants to fucking knock people out sometimes, especially the journos that are on there. But Gordy goes, okay. Sometimes he
bites
sits
his
there.
tongue.
Yeah, he bites his tongue. And because I think, and this is the main part with it, because he's still got that player's mentality where I think if Gordy actually opens up his mouth and go, he might just start splurting heaps of shit out, right?
He'll put a two-piece on Reedy's fucking head and bash Bulldog and smash Buzz in the head.
he blew up because Reedy wasn't being Queensland enough.
Yeah. Because he needs Reedy to be diplomatic with it back, or at least go in a back and forth where Gordy just wants to rip their heads off.
Yeah.
And he wants them to shut the fuck up until it's and don't talk shit if you're not actually going to live it.
Yeah.
And he is the perfect
haven't lived it.
he's the perfect representation of what Queensland is in the media. And again,
Even doing stuff like I was with the great Shane Webke last night, and I was just like, fucking, he rubs it into. He just hammers it. He hammered every single one of our forwards. It was fucking unbelievable. It's like, shut up.
life's good. Queensland have got another victory. Mace, that is about it. I'm sure we'll touch on it again. We'll probably give it another watch.
I'll watch it when I get home.
We'll hear from the people. Feel like we covered a whole heap. The one last little bit, and I don't want to spend my whole podcast career being a Ashley Klein and referee basher.
How'd he go?
Awful.
Was he awful again?
So here's the perfect representation of just how he's not up for these moments. At the death, New South Wales got a couple of favourable calls. Not even 50-50s where I was like looking at Siebes. So Connor Watson gets it dummy half, picks the ball up, throws it into, I think it was Tommy Dearden who's trying to get back in the ruck. They eliminated that rule 2.5 years ago. Penalty, leg out, they go down. That is after a questionable marker play. Then Latrell was on the sideline in a tackle and he throws his own body over the line. Ashley Klein gets him to get up and play the ball again. They get a repeat set off the back of that. He is nowhere near the best referee, and there are only a couple of opportunities. In my opinion, he had 2 or 3 favourable calls for New South Wales to get back. So here's the thing with the Latrell incident. It's either a penalty because he deems Queensland had thrown him over the line, or it's out because Latrell threw his own body over the line, which I think should have been the rule. But even if he does believe that there was some jest in it or there was a play from Queensland to throw him over the line, he said, get back on the mark and play the ball. So just say if Latrell was standing up in the tackle and they were both in the tackle and it's held but Latrell moves off the mark, if Latrell then steps out, it would be, all right, play the ball. Latrell, you stepped out. You're out. Like he just completely lost it. And you can't be considered the best referee in the game and come up with an error like that at a crucial part of the game. Imagine if New South Wales had gone on, they got a repeat set the very next play. Imagine if they had gone on and scored that next set. We could be talking about a historic New South Wales comeback. He should not get big games at the back end of the year, and it is honestly, it's a strong word. It's a disgrace that he still gets the big games, and that's enough on it.
I love it. I didn't see it close enough, so I can't comment.
It's like 3 or 4 calls, and it was like so evident. It was so evident. All right, Mace. Yep. Now that Origin is done, the huge focus is on finals time, and then after the season, we've got the Ashes. We're going over to the UK. It's the first time the Ashes has been played since your time playing. What I want the listeners to do is we're going to go through our team for Australia on Monday. And we're going to deep dive into the New South Wales and Queensland team and then potentially the players who just are not even in contention, like Brian Tyler, like Jerome Luai, potentially Payne Haas-Tino for Saul Malawi. Yeah. And we're going to come up with our best Ashes team. By the way, guys, you have 2 weeks to get in a part of the package to travel with us for 3 weeks. All 3 tests, Wembley to kick it off, Everton Game 2, and a sold-out Headingley for Game 3. So come and join us on the Ashes tour. We've got roughly 70 joining us already. We've got enough room for 2 full buses, which is around the 100 mark. So plenty of spaces available if you want to get on board.
Pump for this.
And have some fun with us at the end of the year. Origin is done. International footy is here.
ashesrl.com.au.
There you go. Let us know who you think should be a part of the team from each team in the comments section as well. Maybe you don't have to go through your complete team.
Give us your spine.
Who's your spine? Let us know who your spine is.
The whole team.
Look how good Teddy's playing at the moment.
Yeah, and also your spine will include, because he is going to be back at the end of the year, a fully fit Mitch Moses. So let us know where you go there as well. This one is from Jake Button. Chair boys, my name is Jake and I'm from New Zealand. I started listening to the potty a couple of weeks before the State of Origin series and haven't missed an episode since. Love the yarns and the breakdowns. You two do. Keep it up, boys. Also, you have to tell everyone where the River Jordan is going to do his half marathon. That's going to be one he won't forget. All the best boys look forward to the breakdown of the game like you've just seen. Thank you, Jake. Thank you to Jordan, a.k.a. the River Jordan. The River Jordan from the Morning Shift Show. He did post straight after the game, which I reposted. He's got a week to do his half marathon. Oof. He was looking for people to challenge him around Queensland in Game 2. I was off myself that I didn't put forward the challenge, but I put my pins on the line for Game 3, and Queensland, they rallied around my pins.
They rallied around you.
They rallied around my pins. All right, let's get to our TJM comp winners. We have the winners announced, and TJM have gone through and selected our winners. So congratulations to all our winners. TJM is also running a mid-year camping clearance right now you can go to tjm.com.au and access rooftop tents, awnings, swags, fire pits, and even the mighty TJM Bush Shore. That offer expires on July 31st, so you've got 3 full weeks from the date of this podcast. I'm going to read out the winners for you, Mace. So in first prize, for the main prize, the winner is Joe Luxy Rogue. Hey, boys, love the potty. The 3 players I would love around the fire. Number 1, Matty Johns. The way Matty has been involved in the league in the last 20 years on all the different shows and potties, he's got a really funny personality, but also one of the smartest guys in the league. Number 2, Brendan Smith the Cheese. What's there to say? The way Cheese lives his life is one of the funniest stories to hear about. And number 3, Gus Gould. The way Gus has changed the perspective on league in the last 30 years has changed teams from bottom 4 teams to number 1. I'd love to pick his brain and see what makes him tick. There you go. 3 really good ones there, Mace.
The cheese.
Cheese,
In between those two.
Matty Johns and Gus. Those are 3 completely different, but
Totally
as
different.
equally important, like big names. That's a
Yeah.
really good one. The runners-up come from CHCHCH. 159. 3 players I'd go camping with are G.I., my childhood idol. Bizza for the vibes and hilarious shit he does. And lastly, the hunter-gatherer, Tamari Martin. Beers, power, and Venetian steaks around the campfire. Also, special mention to Dale Finucane for his
I was with him last night.
for his scat skills. Yeah. And the other runner-up is David Dobson. If we stuck in the woods around a campfire and a chilly evening, the 3 NRL players I would want: James Maloney to take care of the barbecue and alone.
Last night as well. Fucking hell.
Ray Stone, because if we want to hear some scare, if we run into something scary, the man is afraid of nothing. And if it's a full moon, having David Williams, the Wolfman, to ward off any potential werewolves is my other pick. So some really good nominations there. Thank you to TJM for running that, and thank you to everyone who got in their nominations. Let's get to the footy, mate. We've got a one game off a round. We're going to start off with Friday night for the NRL. The Sharks take on the Dolphins Friday, 8 p.m. at Shark Stadium. Just the one change for the Sharks that lost to the Storm. That's Daniel Atkinson coming onto the bench for Billy Burns. As for the Dolphins, Cody Nikorima has succumbed to a hamstring injury. So Sean O'Sullivan will go to 6. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow has been named, at least for now, with Max Fiangai shifting to the centres, Jake Averillo to the wing, and Mark Nichols has been named to start at prop. Odds, Lukey, for this game?
Tab have Cronulla at $1.65.
It's a must-win game, right?
Must win,
You've got to
right?
win this.
Dolphins 225. The line is 3.5.
Cronulla, they'll be desperate. They have to win.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing when I first looked at this game. There's only one person I trust right now for the Cronulla Sharks, Britton Nicola.
Yeah.
I know he's going to run a really tough line. I know he's going to give it his all, and he's going to be in the contest. So I got him anytime. Herbie was on the streak of doom. Last couple of weeks, he hasn't been able to cross over for a try. I think Herbie gets back in there. And I think this is going to be a defensive battle. Under 46.5. That's the way I can see this game going. Cronulla are desperate, but I'm tipping the Dolphins because...
What?
I'm tipping the Dolphins because the Dolphins have shown me more this year.
Katoa too. They're gone. They've got to win. Cronulla's got to win.
They have to win, right?
They've got to make the 8. Otherwise, fucking heads are going to roll there. Jesus. Have to win. They've got too many class players.
The Knights versus Storm, Saturday 3 p.m. at McDonald Jones Stadium. Fletcher Hunt is the player that's been named to replace Kalen at fullback. The return of Greg Marzou sees Schiller push the reserves. Leo Thompson is also back from suspension, so Tyson Frizzell reverts to lock. Phoenix Crossland goes to hooker. Jaden Brayley to the bench. Thomas Cant to 18th man. As for the Storm, Pappy is back after a late withdrawal of the game last week, so Nick Meaney returns to the centres. Grant Anderson to the wing. Stefano and I thought it was Trent Liero as well. Okay, so Trent Stefano has been named on the bench, but Cam, Harry, and Trent Liero are amongst the reserves at the moment. Alec McDonald will miss the match with a rib injury, and Jack Health is listed as 18th man. What are the odds for this game, Luke?
$3.50 for Newcastle, $1.30 for Melbourne. Tab have the line at 10.5.
Storm. I don't like Phoenix Crossland at 13. I was liking how they look with Brayley at 9.
Oh, so you don't like Phoenix Crossland at 9. You like them better at 13.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
said that.
They look a little bit better. But having Leo Thompson back, they got this will be a tough game. It's usually a good game, Storm and Newcastle, but the Storm should clean them up.
Yeah, I just think because Leo Thompson's back now with Jacob Saifidi, you can't play Tyson Frizzell anywhere where you got Kai Piss-Paul on the right and Dylan Lucas on the left.
It looks all right. They need to go on a bit of a run. They need to win. It's desperate times.
Storm?
Yeah, Storm.
What did you say the odds were, Lukey?
$3.50 Newcastle, $1.30 Storm.
That's a good bet.
Money doesn't play for sure, right?
Yeah.
Money doesn't play for the Storm?
Does Liero?
Liero does.
He's young.
Yeah,
Liero does.
I think it was against a better opponent potentially. They risk him.
Stefano will play.
I reckon Craig doesn't play Harry, who had injury concerns going into game 1 of Origin, Cam, and he always likes to rest Xavier Coates because Xavier Coates has had consistent soft tissue and ankle injuries over the last couple of years. So I reckon Liero and Stefano play.
Melbourne.
They've got the depth.
What's the points?
10.5.
Yeah, if Money in that play, then probably not the 10.5. But if Money and Harry in particular don't play, then 10.5 the Knights. Dragons versus Roosters Saturday, 5:30 p.m. at Jubilee Stadium. Val Hames has been named to back up and always does. Basically, he even backs up on a Friday if need be. So I reckon he'll play in this game. So Corey Allen goes to 18th man. Luciano Leilua and Hamish Stewart back on deck. So Michael Molo reverts to the bench and Viliami Fafita and Loco Pacifici Tonga drop out. Roosters finally get Sam Walker back. He makes his long-awaited return after the thumb injury delayed his comeback. Billy Smith, Victor Radley also back. Huge returns. Rob Toya, Connor Watson, Lindsay Collins, Angus Crichton and Spencer Lenu have all been named to back up.
Yeah. It should be a tough game. It usually is.
Yeah.
Roosters, they look all right.
What are the odds, mate, Lukey?
Tab have St. George $2.50, $1.53 the Roosters. The line is 5.5.
Roosters with no confidence, me.
Yeah, is it same?
Yeah. It could be a weird Dragons game.
Dragons could be up. They annoy me.
Cowboys versus the Bulldogs, Saturday, 7:35 p.m. at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Ruben Cotter, Tom Dearden, Jeremiah Nanai and Reece Robson have all been named to back up. I think Jeremiah's the only certainty out of those three. Carl Lawton, you know what? I think they all play because they need to play. Carl Lawton is back from suspension on the bench, while Murray Talangi is listed amongst the reserves after he was a late scratching last week. So the system, he's out with a calf injury of the Sam variety, and John Bateman is also sidelined. For the Bulldogs, Stephen Crichton returns, which sees Matt Burton shift back to the 5'8". Lachlan Galvin goes back to the bench. Max King and Kurt Mann have also been named to back up. Bailey Hayward starts at lock, and Turpin goes to 18th man. Jacob Carraz is obviously back in the
three. Can't drop 3 in a row.
Ooh. Well,
Big game, this.
What are the odds?
Fucking big game.
$2.70 at North Queensland, $1.47. The Bulldogs tab have the line at 6.5.
I'm taking the 6.5 Cowboys.
Yeah, I know. You would.
Bulldogs Ada.
Yeah, I know. We gotta get back on track. Back on track.
I
love how everyone just goes, Origin's over, all the players will play again. Like everyone's so busted at the moment.
Yeah.
But you're not in any no one's really in a position where you can rest players.
No.
We can't.
You were about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now you're in a 2-game slide.
Fucking everyone's playing 80 minutes.
Full deck of cards. And Cowboys, they need to win.
Yep.
It's
be different up there. It's different game. It's fucking different weather. It's hot as hell still.
all right. So I'm going Cowboys plus 6.5. I think Cowboys can win the game, and that will be my pick to win the game. But I'll take the 6.5 points, which is a try.
It scares me, this game.
And I'll take Jackson Purdue anytime with Bronson Sherry for the Bulldogs anytime. I think back to his position that he feels way more comfortable playing outside of Matt Burton. There was a bit of a shake-up there last week. I think that inspires that edge to have a big game against an up-and-down right edge.
This is desperation. Like all these teams like Newcastle, I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle wins against Melbourne, right? Because they're sitting there. All these teams are like, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and they all on the same points. And this is where Queensland are, North Queensland, and
this
desperation times.
Well, this
man.
is the
You've got to fucking get these games.
This is going a run time. Like if you can jag 2 or 3,
take some, and you can get yourself like in 5th position.
You can either cement your top 8 position or you can jump into the 8.
Yep,
it's time to make a run.
Like, all these games are like they're 50-50 to me.
Warriors versus West Tigers, Sunday 2 p.m. over here, 4 p.m. local time at Go Media Stadium. Tane Tuapiki will replace Chance Nickel-Klokstad, who's nursing that injury. Apparently it's only going to be about 3 or 4 weeks for Chance, which is good news. Luke Metcalf, though, that's season ending. As expected, Tanner Boyd will get the first opportunity to see if he can replace Lukey Matt. Dallin Watson-Lasnak also returns earlier than expected from an ankle injury against the Panthers. Kirk Capewell was listed amongst the reserves. So currently we have Jackson Ford and Aleka Halasima starting, with Tanner Stoles-Smith earning a recall on the bench as well. As for the Tigers, Jerome Luai will back up. So Adam Dewey goes back to the centres. Luke Laulili drops out. Api Coruscant returns from concussion, which she's Tristan Hope revert to the bench. Jack Bird was also a late withdrawal last week, and he is back on the bench. What are the odds for this game, Lukey?
$1.44 to the Warriors, $2.80 for the West Tigers, 7.5 is the line with Tab.
It's another game that you can split.
The Warriors with no confidence.
No confidence at all. Fuck, I feel sorry for the Warriors.
What about, you see the stat this week that all the halves that the Titans have let go are now starters?
In top 4.
We did that on our show last week from a comment.
Did we talk about that?
Were you not listening during that period?
I must have tapped out.
We've talked about that.
So we did it in a review, and I'd imagine that maybe that listener had seen it somewhere else.
Now Tanner Boyd as well. You
That
didn't
was
bring
the
Tanner
point.
Boyd.
It was the top. So it's the top 4. It's not even the finals. It's the top 4 teams. And they you remember they used Jerome Hughes as an example?
Oh, okay, yep.
Remember that chat?
Yeah.
People taking notes from us level next.
That's rando. That was a
using
rando.
it,
Stealing them.
and then you giving them credit.
Did you hear about that?
Did you guys hear the Blues lost last night? Nah.
All right, let's get to the Battle of the West. The Eels versus the Panthers. Oh, who you going?
Warriors, no confidence.
Yeah, same.
Tigers could get it.
Yeah, Tigers can get it. Eels versus Panthers Sunday 4 p.m. at CommBank Stadium. This is a home game for the Eels too, by the way, because Panthers are playing there this year. So Talon De Silva has been named on the interchange. Charlie Geimer comes into the starting lineup for Kelma Tuolangi, who's suspended. Sam Tuatavati returns from a syndesmosis injury. Bailey Simons is thereabouts in the reserves. I think he plays. He had a game for New South Wales Cup last week. It could be at the expense of Jordan Semrani, who's been named so far. As for the Panthers, Ivan has listed all 5 Origin stars in the reserves. Nath, Isaiah, Liam, Martin, Dylan Edwards, Brian Toto. Should Cleary not back up, Schneider will play half and call the shots with Dane Laurie at fullback, Paul Alamotti for Brian Toto, Matt Eisenhuth for Isaiah Yeo, and Isaiah Papali'i for Liam Martin.
Odds? They're all going to play. They'll all play.
I don't think Bizza can play. Sure.
Oh, no, apart from Biz.
Yeah. Nath?
Yeah.
Man, Nath didn't look a hungy.
It'd be all up to him. I reckon he'll play if it's up to him. They've got to take it out of their hands. Take it out of his hands.
Who's the other one? Oh, Dill. Yeah.
He'll play.
Yeah, Dill will play. Yowie will play. Liam Martin will play.
Yeah.
Bizza and Nath, I'm not super confident about.
And they'll still win.
Well, Parramatta are $3.15, well outside. Penrith $1.37. The line is 9.5.
This was
all day.
This was a close game 2 months ago. This kick-started.
This got Penrith on a roll.
Yeah.
And fuck Para up.
Can they end it? I'm on the Eels.
Nah, yeah?
I'm on the Eels.
No.
I'm
I'm
on the
behind
Eels.
Footy Dean.
Footy Dean. Ooh, Footy Dean hurts me. He's playing so good, mate. Footy Dean's going all right. All right, let's get to the Titans versus Broncos. Sunday, 6:15 p.m. at Seabus Super Stadium. Jaden Campbell's back from concussion. David Fafita is back on the bench. Tino Fasul-Malaawi and Mo Fotuaika are both named as Mo was a part of the squad but didn't play in the game.
He's been in Reggie's for 6 weeks, Dave Fafita.
No, he's been
injured?
He's been injured.
Oh, okay.
He's been getting rehab and that. But the reports have been indifferent.
Yeah.
The reports have been like getting second, what do they call it?
Opinions.
Do you want to touch on the news that's coming out of the Gold Coast this week?
Around Desi?
Yeah.
Nah, not until it's actually done. Paddy Carrigan, Payne Haas, and Gemma Shibasaki are named to back up. Maroon's 18th man, Reece Walsh will obviously play as well. Salwan Cobbo to the bench. Ben Hunt returns at hooker. The return of the big gun sees Hunt, Deloise Hoyter, Tyson Smithy, and Ben Tolte all drop out. Corey Pakes is nursing an injury, so as expected, Ben Hunt will be at hooker. Billy Walters remains on the bench, and also Jesse Arthurs is listed amongst the reserves. What Lukey's alluding to there, mates, if you haven't seen, is their reports are Desi will be done at the back end of the season, but until that's actually properly done, we'll just wait and
speculate.
Yeah.
We don't speculate on this show. Is Payne Haas going to play?
We
Is
don't
he going to play?
Can we speculate if Payne Haas will play?
Is he going to play?
Yes, we can.
Would you play him?
I would not. Madge's history, I'm expecting him to play.
I'm expecting him to play 80. You have a chance now to rest that big man. Right?
Because they have the bye the following week as well.
And you can give him 2 weeks.
And Tino's on the other side too. That's why Madge is going to force him to play.
Yeah, but you can get it done. That Willison's doing the job.
I know that.
I know. I'm with you. He's going to fucking play, and he's going to play good.
So I read it was the injection that takes a week to kick in. That's what he had to have to play. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's why he didn't train at all during Blues camp.
Yeah.
And then just turns up to play.
Nerve damage long term if he keeps just fucking forcing this big boy to fucking...
He's a big man. Anyway.
Odds.
Yep.
340 to the Gold Coast, $1.32 to Brisbane. Tab have set the line at 10.5.
Broncos all day. What are you going?
I just think this is going to be a weird round. You know what it's like better than me, Mace, but I've seen players come back from Origin dejected after game threes, deciders.
When they lose. Yeah.
Win or lose. One, you're on that high, you've got to drop back down and come play club level and there's only 15,000 people when you've played in front of 80. And you might have celebrated and had at least a fucking 6 a.m.er for the first time in the season because they don't drink much anymore. And then you got the losers who are like, fuck, the world's fucking falling apart. We're getting hammered.
Yeah, I still think the Bronx.
That's a real thing, right, for you guys?
It is.
Yeah?
It sucks. But I'm just thinking Brisbane are a good outfit. They want to go on a bit of a run. They need to win this game. They can't lose against the Titans. Fuck.
All right, we'll see. Broncos, no confidence. Titans with the
No confidence in anyone I pick.
Zero
I'll
confidence.
probably get zero.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you Monday.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.